Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Now You're Playing with Podcast. I am Chris, and in this month's episode, we've got a recap of Hexadecathlon 2012, the ultimate gaming tournament in my basement for my friends. So, listen to about 8 or so people talk about video games after playing them for 9 hours. It's pretty cool. I liked it.
Now you're playing with Podcast.
All right, and welcome to Now You're Playing with Podcast. The theme of this episode is
special.
The Hexadecathlon 2012 special. We are recapping the Hexadecathlon. Quick recap, this is the tournament that Chris runs, and it is an all-day video game tournament. There's 10 games people play individually, and 6 games in multiplayer that everyone competes with. And we have got a whole slew of people here with us. We have got Chris, who I'm going to turn the microphone over to. We have got Seth, who played. We've got Sam. We've got Amy. We have Steven and my lovely wife, Rebecca.
Hello.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give this to Chris and let him kick it off.
I feel so official. All right, so did everybody enjoy it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Was it too long? Did people get bored late? I mean, that's kind of the complaint I felt last year. Like, by the time Combat and Pong ran around, everybody's like, just be done.
I enjoyed going upstairs and watching vintage MTV, so there was a wonderful distraction upstairs.
And also,
Yeah.
I think people want to jump right back into the other games and keep playing,
yeah.
regardless of their scores.
Yeah, it went really fast, just like last time, and I didn't get tired of anything. I really was focusing on the games, though, the whole time, pretty much. So that's why the time went really fast for me.
How about the resident girlfriend here? Did she enjoy herself, even though she's not a gamer?
I enjoyed myself quite a lot. I didn't expect to play. I just came for Sam, and I really enjoyed the fact that I beat somebody at Dr. Mario.
Yes.
That's what she said. Oh, wait. Thanks, obligatory. Hey, Linda's here.
Yay!
Want to clear up a chair for her?
All right. We've gone through.
It's been a long night, folks.
Yep. Hey, we're professionals.
Oh no, I'm okay. Are you sure? Oh, maybe.
We are surrounded by plush dolls, wires, and
4,000 video games.
yes,
Yeah, that's true.
Don't turn off the light. We'll be eaten by a grue.
the troll's gonna
Nerd
win our
joke.
money.
I have the sword. With the
As the hostess, what did you think, Miss Wifey Linda? Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was fun. It's, kind of exhausting to, have to make sure all the cheese is replenished and the people are fed and beveraged and...
Linda ran the green room.
and also try and squeeze in games here and there. I know I was probably the last person to turn in my card. Cause,
How'd you do?
I don't know. How did I do? Where did I place?
Let me bring up the score sheet here. Continue to talk amongst yourselves.
I mean, it was fun, and I was pleased to get what I thought was semi-decent scores on games I've never played before.
Now, what would you say compared to last year, how this turned out?
I think it's comparable. Even though the You Don't Know Jack kind of skewed the time, I think it seemed to flow better.
Oh, but everybody loves you don't know Jack, though.
It was really fun. Yeah. So I think that made up for it. People didn't care that it took so long because it was fun.
I think the thing, too, is that, that was one of the more engaging games of the day. There was the most people kind of, hanging around watching You Don't Know Jack than anything else until we got to Combat at the end.
Yeah, Combat was really, really exciting. I did better this year than I did last year, and I just was really proud of the score that I had.
And Combat was, oh my gosh, it's crazy that we've got the modern systems and we have everything hooked up, and okay, we're gonna do Geometry Wars, and then we end the night with, kind of the granddaddy of all games again, and it's still just as exciting as it was last time,
and more exciting because it had the Sex Pistols.
Yes.
No, the Sex the Clash.
That's Nate's game.
Yes, the Clash.
But I like that, but I was really thrown off by not having the sound effects. You need the Combat. Yeah, the crashing sound effects, whatever.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, fine, buzz my high, or harsh my buzz, or whatever that is. I don't know. I don't smoke pot.
High my harsh.
But I'd say compared to last time, I think the games were stronger.
I thought they were a lot more challenging, especially, was it Minor 2049er? That one
yes.
gave me a run
That
for my
game-
money.
Let's go through one by one then.
Sure.
Let's go through one by one. The first game on the roster for the single player was Killer Bees for the Odyssey 2. I'm pretty sure nobody's ever played that before. What'd you think?
It was probably my favorite.
Really?
I
So
played
much
it
fun.
more than any other game today.
It was
Killer
the
Bees.
highest rated Odyssey 2 game on the Video Game Critic, so that's why I picked it.
And I really enjoy that it kind of lulls you into a false sense of security in the gameplay, and then it just starts to crank until you're like, ah!
And George Takei did the voice.
I mean, everything about it is different from games of that era that I've played. Everything is just novel. And go ahead.
It was really fun. I had never played it, obviously, because I've never played hardly any of these games, and it was fun to kind of figure out how to play it as I went along. Like, instead of getting frustrated, it was really fun for me to figure out
There's a lot of different
how
strategy
to get a higher
it.
score.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first time I played, I got like 600 points, or yeah, something like that. I got something really, really low, and the third score I wrote down was like 5,500. And I was so happy because I was like, oh, I figured out the cannons and I figured out the patterns of the things. And then after I saw you play and you said, oh, I kill a bear and then shoot a cannon, I was like, I didn't know that. I wanted to go back and play it again.
Use a cannon. Yeah.
I wanted to go back and like do it again and get a higher score. And so yeah, that was I liked that one.
Another awesome thing about that game, it has the high score, the local high score, prominently displayed on the top left at all times, so you can always just look over and see if someone
You know
beat your
what
score or
you're going
what the
against.
best is.
I thought that game was the most addicting because I would get a high score, and then even hearing like the cool robot sound effects from this Odyssey, that for me was like, awesome.
I am so proud of this group. I'm shedding a tear right now. That was my choice of a game, and everybody loved it.
Game? I loved it. I mean, Steven and I just went back and forth on high scores, and I think he eventually had the high score.
My Odyssey 2 power supply overheated, and it died for about a half an hour.
And I demanded Tatton fix it. I demanded it.
Bring that in.
Yeah, we fixed it.
It's great though because in the kitchen you just would hear the like every
yes.
It never got 5 seconds, no matter how quiet it was or loud.
It was only like 13,000. I think you had 14,000.
No, mine was 1350.
Oh, okay. Someone had 15,000.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chris
who it
got
was.
24,000, but that doesn't count. So.
Jason, that was like his joust. Like I think he played that one a lot too.
And Jason, I love Jason because Jason will come in and he'll not have played any of these guys. And he'll sit down.
He'll focus on.
He'll pick one.
Right.
He'll focus on it and he'll rock socks.
Jason has the best commentary too. I think he throws out funny one-liners.
I wish we were here. I wish you were here tonight to record with us. The thing that was crazy though was last night when we were doing a playthrough test, make sure the spreadsheet worked and stuff like that. Chris played this last night when he set that 24,000 point score. That's actually higher than the third place score on Twin Galaxies. Like, had we been recording it, we could have submitted it.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't think it was that good. But I didn't think it was that good. The crazy thing about that game is you're playing really well, and you can die in a snap.
Sure.
Yeah. Like instantly. You supposedly have 12 Bs, but your 12 Bs just go.
It has a unique life system. You essentially just have one life, but the amount of bees you have gets depleted, and then you die.
fall in love with your bees, and then when they die and you get down to one bee, you're like, no, little bee. You have to kill those bears, little bee.
It's also got this crazy, apparently, post-apocalyptic story about robot bears.
Robot bears.
Bees might be robotic.
Let me get that out.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know that I want to play a game where we're killing these poor innocent bears with all these killer bees.
But they're robotic.
And Chris was like, well, but they're robotic.
Someone
bears?
told me.
It's like, okay.
Someone told me that the reason they were red is because they're allergic, and that's why they die faster.
Well, no, Chris told me this. The difference between the red and the blue are clockwise and counterclockwise, the way they move, isn't that right?
Man.
Yeah.
Don't give us strategies after.
Yeah,
it's all
they move in a
over.
definite pattern. It's almost like Centipede, where they just go in a straight line and move depending where the mushrooms are. The robots move clockwise or counterclockwise, and if they run into each other or the wall, then they'll change direction.
But it's brilliant, too, because it changes based on your honeycombs. If you build a honeycomb, then it walks into that, and it changes the pattern.
When Nana Giant finds the honeycomb hideout,
yes.
then all hell breaks loose.
Oh, no. Wait, those are honeycombs?
That's what I thought they
were. Dead robot bear
I thought that was...
And it has an exclamation point, which makes it an awesome game.
Killer Bees.
Killer Bees!
2
Those look like flies.
Is Panic the only game with 2 exclamation points?
Panic! Turtles!
Let's see.
Well, that's a cool manual, all full color.
Oh,
Odyssey 2.
they
It's
have to make
the
'em
challenge.
gorgeous,
The
yeah.
challenge. I don't remember what the fuck they called it.
Challenger series.
Yeah, but I mean the challenge will always be there. Some stupid tagline. It's not as good as Now You're Playing With podcast.
The challenge.
Bee-bots from the insect civilization of BEM
Oh, man.
will invade Earth through tunnels on 3 sides of the screen. The red bee-bots move clockwise. The blue bee-bots move counterclockwise.
Is that BEM then? I guess.
BEM.
BEM.
It's like REM's rival band in Athens. Like the straight band that played covers. Wait, REM was a cover band.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we'll talk about Killer Bees all night.
All right, so what's next game?
Donkey Kong for the Atari XEGS.
Yeah,
This was
unfortunately,
the-
you can't see the eye rolls because there were definitely a few sides, but there were a lot of eye rolls when it was done. You can't see that over the microphones.
Well, and just to preface this real quick, the each of the games that we play, Chris has a setup where you start at a certain difficulty to make sure that you don't play the game too long, give everyone a chance to play. So this one started on the pie level.
Pies.
So it was already hard, like right from the very beginning.
Yeah, Donkey
like,
Kong's just hard to
throwing-
begin with.
Yeah, and it's like throwing the diagonal barrels. And, I mean, it's right out of the gate hard.
Yeah, I did that to so on that difficulty you play through all 4 boards. If you start on the first
All 4.
But if you start on the first
I don't
board
think we made it to the 4th level of the
If
first
you got to the
board.
3rd level,
Like the fourth-
you did pretty
on,
good.
on the
I don't
first
think I made it
go
to
round
4 ladders.
on the first go round you only get 2 levels, and in the second one you get 3, and in the third one you get 4. And I wanted people that to actually play all 4 or experience it, and that blew in my face. But
Well, and I bet there were a lot of people who this is the first time they played the Pie Factory because they're just used to playing the Nintendo one.
yeah, fuck Nintendo.
Well, I mean, it was hard, and a lot of people were very frustrated with being able to get a high score on it. But it was a fun game to be in the tournament. I mean, it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I
to
got
do
used
that.
to its
Like,
difficulty.
I don't think that anybody's mad it was in the tournament.
think-
like
No,
they
it's
were
a
with
good
the
game.
Virtual
I mean,
Boy
yeah,
last
it's a
year.
No migraines came from the Donkey Kong.
Right.
And it is a hard game. Like that's another thing like that we kind of forget over the years as games progress further.
Right. And if
Yeah.
anybody's seen King of Kong, they all know. Okay, this is going to be hard.
And,
Yeah.
and it's
Especially while your child's saying, "Daddy, can you wipe my butt?" and you're on the high score.
it's nice to have a representation of something that everybody knows. So, anybody that grew up with the SNES and had Donkey Kong Country, you've played Donkey Kong Country, or anybody that's, played the Donkey Kong 64, or any of the games, following, that the character, he's a quintessential classic character, but to have this character show up in a way that's it's his first, inaugural outing, but done in the full, what you would be experiencing on the arcade with the when he shows his teeth is great. It's nice.
Everybody thinks Nintendo starts with Super Mario Brothers. No, Nintendo starts with Donkey Kong in the arcade.
On a Fuda cards.
Donkey Kong was like second to Pac-Man back in the day, like in terms of popularity.
Right.
And hell, the first Mario Brothers is a 2-player P versus P short battle.
I mean, when I was a kid, it was Pac-Man and Donkey Kong on Saturday morning cartoons, and everybody loved Donkey Kong.
Cereal.
And those cartoons are fucking awful, and I wish I could have on DVD, but we will never ever see them because it's
His
that.
voice is so
Cartoons
wrong.
are scarce
Mario's
today.
voice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They
I do
very
remember.
are.
I have an
Saturday morning
animation cell
Supercade.
from the original the original cereal commercial. I wish I could eat that cereal again. Yeah, and not the same, not a vintage box, like unopened, bought on eBay. I'll eat that right now. No.
Over $1,000.
I actually saw a Garfield SpaghettiOs can that was from '88, at least 5 years ago in a store somewhere.
No.
I did. I really did.
I would buy it, but I think it would be like explosion warning.
A few years ago, when we went to the CCHE up in Cleveland, there's a guy up there who's a big Pac-Man collector. I can't remember what his name is, but he had like the Pac-Man SpaghettiOs
And cereal and
still sealed.
Yeah,
It was
I
can't imagine what's
amazing.
growing inside of that can.
So let's get away from botulism and go to the next game.
Yes, good segue.
Yeah. Minor 2049er for the ColecoVision. This was recommended by Brad, and as predicted, Brad won it after a very harsh battle
That was
with Steven and Heather.
Heather, yeah.
And that game is deceptively hard.
And deceptively awesome.
Brutal. Everybody loved it. I mean,
So, yes, I will say I did not get to level 3. And I tried and tried and tried and tried.
And I watched that.
It was fun to play. Like, it was one of those, I haven't played it before, and when I worked down in Cincinnati, I had a guy that came in, and that was his favorite game. And I'd never played it. And now, having that experience of being able to play it, I can totally see why. It's a fun game. It's very reminiscent of Donkey Kong, but...
It's like a Donkey Kong Pac-Man hybrid.
Yeah,
and a little bit of Burger Time.
Yeah.
I could see Burger Time.
Yeah, good stuff. I
The
like.
2600 version sucks, though. Don't play that version. It's super slow. Imagine that like half the speed.
Oh Lord, which version do we have? We're gonna have to buy the.
Which one version did we play? 2600.
Because that is, you know, of the games that we have here, like that we've played, I want to play that again. I want to acquire that for the collection. I want to be able to play that again. We do.
And each level you have to, except for the first level, you have to really plan it out. You can get stuck. There's lots of ways to die in that game, but it's satisfying. It rewards your patience.
And it's fast. You have to play it quickly, but you can't play it too quickly, or else you start falling through. Yep. Start falling through platforms and wonder why. There's a platform there, you bastard.
So you fall through to your head.
Which is funny.
You just melt.
They just were not very forgiving when you died.
Yeah.
And when you run out of time, which I did numerous times, to get to the third level, it was like, oh my god. I almost had it.
When you die, it starts over completely. So
and then you gotta do all that work again.
I had never played the game before, so I didn't understand that there was a time limit, and I couldn't understand why my guy was melting all the time. Until someone was nice enough to explain that,
That happened to me too when I was trying to get past the third stage, and I kept just like melting on the third stage. I couldn't figure out why, because I thought like there's something I'm hitting. Like, what am I hitting? Like, how can I do it? It was a time thing.
Is there a time limit? Oh my god, there's a time limit too.
And if the game were reality, if I were to jump off the couch, I would fall and die to my death.
You would melt. You'd also be wearing a pith helmet that would land on the ground.
When a game's super hard, but the controls are awesome, it's a good frustration.
Mm-hmm. Why do his clothes melt, but his hat doesn't?
He's not wearing clothes.
Because it's his hard hat.
Okay.
I don't really understand the concept of the game. I figured out, well, the object of the game is to clear all the floor. You walk over.
It's the year 2049. It's the future. Don't question it.
Okay. Yeah. I just thought maybe he's exploring the whole mine.
And people wear pink overalls.
Are we Bounty Bob striking back next year? Okay, because it's the sequel.
We can only assume that he's running through the caverns after the Great Mushroom War to look for... Everyone who watched Adventure Time just laughed, and everyone else is looking at me weird.
What?
Next. Reggie Jackson Baseball for the Sega Master System.
Picked by you, right?
Picked by me. Yes. I wanted one sports game. I think that's all we had. Home Run Derby. So, quick 2-3 minute play. Again, I win because I'm a jerk.
Well, I think that's a game that really, if you played it a lot, which you probably did as
16.
You got 16 runs. Personal best.
Personal best. I was screaming steroids the whole time I was doing it last night.
Oh, sure.
Who did you play as?
Cork the bat!
Who did you play as?
I played as the guy on the Reds with in the top 8 that I had printed out, Gavin.
Yeah, Chris went through.
Gavin
did you go
Rossdale.
through all the players? And
I went through all the players.
All the best power hitters.
And I put a little chart of all the top 8 power hitters in the game.
Just look into circa 88 baseball players, and you'll have your roster.
Yeah, and it has these cool... they don't have real players, but on the team select screen, they put like a little thumbnail of the managers, and the Reds and the Cincinnati manager is Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
And that's one of my avatars on a lot of websites and stuff. I love the 8-bit Pete Rose.
He's not happy because he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, and I know that you said that you didn't see that there was a big difference between like who you chose as a pitcher, But I was choosing Paris as my batter all the time, and then I was just basically defaulting to whatever it chose next for pitcher, which was like San Francisco or something. And I was scoring no runs, 2 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, and then Then I played again, and for some reason I just decided, I'll pick Seattle as my pitcher. And I got 10 runs.
It might be.
Yeah. And Linders rocked that thing
and
out.
I was just like, you are kidding me. I'm playing, and I'm like, another one. Oh, my God, another one. And I was all giddy. And then I was like, that's it. I'm done playing. That's it. I don't care if I'm top. I got 10. I'm gold. So
the pitcher seems to be pitching as if it's a normal game. He's not really lobbing it out over like...
Yeah.
There were curveballs and there were, he would move over and then it would like curve away and I was just like, I was freaking out. So I was like, pick another pitcher, and I got 10 runs. Okay.
I never had that issue, but like when I was up to bat, I always batted the left-handers because I did better with them. But a strategy that I noticed and picked up was that when the pitcher was pitching the ball, as soon as it gets that second to the bat, when the ball gets to that second of the bat, move over a little bit so that it cracks on the very end, and that's when you hit the home run.
Out or in? I moved out.
I moved out. Yeah. When you move out,
right when
that
you
is
hit
a
it?
really good strategy. That's what got me my 11
I was
runs.
always moving and then hitting. Yeah.
But yay, everybody liked it.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the list, suggested by Nate, was Paperboy. But I threw a curveball and used the Sega Genesis version over the more popular NES version.
Boo.
Because the Genesis version was closer to the arcade version.
The name of the game is competitive play, I think is what you were going for with Genesis.
Well, so Genesis and using the Genesis controller and
And you're already using the NES, and I think you want to use different.
Right.
Yeah. So going for that, understandable. But I have officially fulfilled my quota of playing Paperboy on the Genesis for my entire life. Thank you very much.
I've never played it on the Genesis, so this is my chance to play on the Genesis. So.
I blew up hitting everything. I hit the curb and blew up, and then I hit the bush and I blew up, and then I got hit by a car and they fired me. Like, I'm sorry, but the legality of all of that just bothers me.
What I didn't understand was how you could hit the pile of leaves and get extra points, but you hit anything else and you blew up like a rotten tomato.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was the challenge with this too, is that the controls just seemed weird. And we were talking about this before we started recording that. It's not that
it's not
a
controller.
Problem with the controller, right? It's not a problem with the system. It's just a problem with this port. Just feels really off compared to the other home versions.
Well, and whereas, Killer Bees was frustrating, and then it was fun figuring out how to play better. Paperboy frustrated me and made me just want to throw the controller at the TV.
Yeah.
Like, because like you said, I ran through the pile of leaves and it was like jumping, hey, woohoo. But I'm like, okay, well, let me ride in the street, but I'll hug the curb. And I blew up because I hit the sewer grate. Like, seriously, the sewer grate.
But that's the whole game. The control wise, I think it's supposed to be sort of wonky to replicate the arcade game with the bicycle handles. But I don't know for sure, and it was kind of a dud. I was hoping for better, but I don't think it wasn't Virtual Boy bad, right?
Yeah, it was not Virtual Boy bad.
So some games have to suck.
No migraines.
And I don't think it may not actually be a bad game or a bad port. It's not, like we were saying, a pick up and play game. It's not like great for the tournament.
Yeah, and I don't know how other people did, but I know I got to a point a couple times where I got to put my initials in, and I was at like number 5 or something like that. Like, so. I mean, obviously I picked it up, and I did get to the end of... I mean, I didn't ever make it to the next day, but, I did make it to the end where it was, like, shoot the targets and stuff. So, I mean, and it did... I was happy. I was like, woohoo, yay! And then I was done, and then move on to the next game. But that one was frustrating unpleasantly as opposed to frustrating in a pleasant way. That's what she said.
Out of all the games, I thought this one was the funniest because I would see just total random, like people fist fighting on driveways,
dancing,
like cats running out in the street.
There's a good.
Get to the house.
There's like a robber. Like, what is going on?
And you sit there and watch him try and break in that window.
It was the funniest, by far the funniest
and Nate
game.
suggested it, and he's the person that seemed the most pissed off playing it.
Nate can beat the NES version, so that's why he picked it, because he wanted a ringer game, and I'm a jerk and screwed him over.
Well,
He's not here to defend himself,
He
so
was extra annoyed.
also, I cannot fail to mention the either Drunk Man or Moonwalker Michael Jackson impersonator. It was just sort of...
There's a good Mega 64 video of they reenact all the stuff in real life,
Oh,
and they
yeah,
actually stop a
I've
paper
seen that.
delivery truck, and he's like, "What?"
That was
you should check
fantastic.
That out. Yeah.
And I did take great pleasure in beating the kid on the big wheel with a newspaper.
Ooh.
That one I made
You
sure
get
to
points?
do every single time. It was fun.
I like their random man just walking down in the grass. Like he wasn't on the sidewalk or the street. Like he was kind of like in that middle area, like kind of in that trench
So
coat.
an entertaining game to watch more than to play.
And feel-wise, I'm going to say that almost feels like a LucasArts game.
Yeah.
The
Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. I'm not going to say, because it's totally not the same gameplay, but the tongue-in-cheek stuff that goes on. So so you're driving by, on your bike, and like there's a mortuary, and there's the hearse that goes by, and like a zombie comes out. Like, wait, what the crap? Like,
Total random.
We're not emulating what it's like to be a real paper boy. We're just
Someone should make that game.
But that's what I loved about video games back then. It was the funny, and I think when you talk about 2D games versus 3D games, 2D games are more cartoonish based.
They were out of the box.
3D games are more realism based, and I missed that they've completely abandoned the cartoonish based games.
Agreed.
The exact same way. It seemed like whatever happened, the absurdity of the older games tend to lend itself to better gameplay. But then as soon as the graphics start getting realistic, the gameplay has to start getting realistic, and then it gets away from being a fun fantasy adventure and turns into just emulating something in real life, but doesn't emulate it very well.
So this would make a wonderful podcast that maybe everyone will be listening to later. We probably should move on to another game.
No, for
I'm
later.
sorry. I love you guys.
Write it down.
Because that's a great idea.
Next game, one of my all-time favorites. I hope everybody liked it. I think Seth suggested this. Mr. Driller for the Sony PlayStation. I'll let Seth start.
Yeah, my idea was to have it for the Dreamcast, but ends up being for the PS1. I practiced endless amount of hours on this game from the time that he announced the 2012 Hexadecathlon roster. I was just hoping that it would be for the Dreamcast, but ended up being for the PS1. I think there was a rule or a game variation that allowed you to change it to 5,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think you can do that on the Dreamcast version.
Yes, you can.
You can?
It's the exact same game. The only difference is the FMV movies at the beginning. The Dreamcast renders them. The PlayStation just plays a movie.
I thought it was 25,000 feet, and then 55, and then
No,
5,000.
it's 5,000 and 10,000. It's survival mode.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is this one's a survival mode, so it was a one life. Get as far as you can. As soon as you die, that's it. That's all you can do.
I'm always used to playing the arcade mode, so that's probably why.
And I started with 5,000 feet because if you died right at 5,000 feet, you got 5,000 points. And since I had the scoring system for the whole tournament based off of your percentage of the high score, the winner had just over 8,000. So everybody got a lot of points, even if they barely played the game at all. So that's why I chose that. If it had been 0 to 3,000, then people would have got nothing. So that's why I chose 5,000.
Oh,
I'm just curious,
It's
but-
nice points so that we feel better about ourselves. It's pity points.
I'm curious, who got first place in that? Or
Probably
you
Chris.
got that one? Well, besides you.
Oh,
It's like grading the class and having the teacher. Also, I've got the book in front of me, and I'm going to take this test with you. Oh, look, kids, I got 100%. You guys suck.
Become a
And
trade.
I'm going to grade
What?
on the curve.
Yes, I agree with you.
It's gonna be copyright phrase.
What do you-
Gets graded on the curve.
What do you think about this?
Well, we already kind of had the conversation. I think that I mean, I had fun, and I went in knowing there were going to be lots of people that were better than me, but I do think that since Chris and Tatton hosted, and I understand you want to play and you want to have fun and you want to participate, but you guys just can. I mean, I know people got higher scores than you. I do, but especially with the tournament play, I think that you knock people out of the tournament in the first round that may have done better if they weren't playing against you. And if your scores don't count, then it's kind of like it's kind of unfair to other people whose scores would count.
It's like a reverse buy.
Yeah, it's like you get knocked out for free instead of you get to move on to the next level for free. I mean, and also like Becky said, since you do the percentage of the high score, which is awesome, it's a great way to equalize things. But if you get 24,000 in Killer Bees, then
set a Twin Galaxy record.
And the next person is like 10,000 below that, then that percentage, everybody else's percentages are lower.
I know, and I'm a jerk, and I'll admit it.
I'm
And
not
I wanted. Last year I did not win, and I did the same thing. Tatton won, so this year I wanted the satisfaction of kind of winning, even though I didn't earn anything for it. I'm admitting it, okay? And because now I finally won, I will not play next year.
Okay, and I mean, I'm not like,
or
I'm not
you
like,
should make someone else host it.
I'm not pissed
and
off
play.
about it.
Yeah.
It's just because I know it's not gonna all of a sudden I'm the winner because you're not playing. So it's not because I want to get farther, but like I didn't even get to play combat at all, and I don't even know if you guys were out, if I still would have even gotten to play combat. But you just took the top 8 combat scores, and the 2 of you were in the top 8, but then your scores don't count. So there were 2 slots that you guys were taking up that other people could have played.
Well, I did figure I was going to add more people, but I did base it off of who was still in the running for prizes.
Right. No,
So,
people had left, and
number 9 on the list at that point wasn't eligible for a prize. So, well, let's not talk about combat at this point. That's the last.
Well,
game.
no. But I'm just saying, like with
Mr. Driller, I love it. How about you?
I my brain isn't built for Mr. Driller. I mean, I had fun playing it, and I did my part, and I wrote my score down. But my brain's just not built to think like that.
I like it because it was almost like it was destroying puzzle games. It was like taking a puzzle element and then saying, like, you don't really need to worry this much about how the blocks are connected except for them not falling on your head. And then you're just basically drilling through them all. And I'd never really heard of the game before, and I'd really liked taking something.
It's very
like
fun
a
and
strange
colorful.
concept.
You won a Wii card, and coincidentally, there is a Mr. Driller W for the Wii for download. So totally buy it.
Yes, it's fun game.
I still don't think I get the game really. I had fun playing it,
He's
but
on the moon.
I wasn't good. I mean, not that I don't get the plot or whatever of the game, but
Mr. Driller, our serious game.
I don't know any strategy. I had no idea how to get the oxygen after this first level when they were all surrounded by blocks. I mean, I knew that you could like jump up and get it, but I didn't know how to
drill. You can actually
create
drill you can drill the solid blocks.
But
you can.
You lose 20%, and you gain 20%, so it's not really.
Yeah, so if you waste your time on it, but if you're done, well, yeah, you're kind of nerfed
no
that
point.
way anyway. Yeah.
You have to drill out from under the solid ones to make them fall, to make a flat platform, and then climb up and go across.
If you want to watch,
further
if
down
you want to
go,
watch anybody play it,
that's
watch
what I meant.
Chris.
And that's what I meant by my brain is not built for that game. Like I can't. I'm like, oh look, there goes another one by. Oh look, there goes another air capsule by.
It's
crap, he
manic
turned
and
blue.
crazy,
Down.
but then you also have to be
down.
aware of the blocks that are dropping on you. I think.
Yeah, and even though that you've left a certain part of the screen, it's smart enough that it's still dropping blocks like the chain that you run away from is still happening above you. So you can be sitting there and something will just come flying down out of nowhere because you moved down that far, which you have to take into account.
I also learned tonight that Mr. Driller is Dig Dug is Mr. Driller's son. Or did I get that wrong?
Mr. Driller
is
Dig
Dug's father.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Mr. Driller is Dig Dug's son.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until tonight.
What's actually awesome is the Dig Dug for the DS. They actually have like a lot of father-son rivalry like between the two in that one, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Another one of my favorites, which I don't think I suggested myself. I think there was kind of a consensus on this one. Was Crazy Taxi, the Sega Dreamcast. Yeah.
Crazy Taxi. Offspring.
That's our game. We always fuck up bands on purpose to make people say that. Everybody love it?
Yeah, it was a good game.
I liked it
for the
yes.
tournament.
5-minute play mode, so nobody could run away with it. There were no marathon sessions.
I really liked the 5-minute part on that because that really it really limited like the time very concisely. So you always had the set amount of time, but you had to be really specific about who you picked up. You had to like towards the end of your time like really pick up people who you were dropping off close to you, because if you accidentally grabbed someone who was all the way across the map, like you were done and like time was over, you didn't get that last fare.
Lots of red customers.
I'm sorry, I can't stand Crazy Taxi, and it's all right. So I will sit and watch people play. You shut up. I will sit and I will watch people play it, no problem. But for me, it's I have problems with the way that it controls. Like it's a very loose
very complicated
control.
Too, like the buttons you have to
Yeah,
press.
so I don't know which way I'm going. I'm gonna say I remember playing Vigilante 8 once in the arcades, and I was the school bus, and I giggled the whole time because I kept doing loop-de-loops, and you're not supposed to do loop-de-loops, but I did them anyway. And it's, I get giddy because I'm like, I'm in reverse and running over people, and I really probably shouldn't be doing that. So, it's not... It seems like it's a fun game, and I'll sit and I'll watch people play it, but it is definitely not
I think
a game
people
for
did
me.
get aggravated at the glitchiness of it, about getting hung up on corners and not knowing really the controls for it.
Foam and trees and poles. It made me kind of sad because I used to rock that game so hard on the Dreamcast. Like I would have problems playing it on other systems because I learned it on Dreamcast, and I was so good at crazy drifts and jumps
Impressive.
and all that stuff. And I sat there and I played it, and I'm like, I can't do any of this anymore, and I suck so bad
That's the
at
upside. I
it.
still have muscle memory for that game.
Yeah.
1990, 2000 when it first came out?
Oh, God, yeah.
I love Crazy Taxi, so I'm going to be the proponent for that. I'm just so... There's so many games now, like the Needs for Speeds and everything, that follows the same model so much that I just love having a different concept in there and moving around and actually picking up people.
It made me like The Offspring. Let's just say that.
I love the
that
Red Hot
game-
Chili Peppers.
The high
It's like
score
a pre 94 and a post 94 Offspring.
Oh, yeah,
be deliberate.
My wife shouldn't have. She cut out a whole month to practice this thing, so
I know. I live with this stuff. I could practice, but that takes time that I should have been like cleaning the house for this thing. So
that Farmville game or whatever.
it's not Farmville. Shush.
And as far as practicing, we don't know. It's kind of a guessing game as to what the rules, what the mode we're going to be playing of each game is, too, which I think is fun. Trying to guess how we're going to play it.
So I just thought of something. So way back when I used to listen to Offspring with my friend, and there was a song called Bad Habit. And if you know the lyrics to Bad Habit, I think that would be a way more entertaining song to play in the background of that game. And if you don't know the lyrics to Bad Habit, you have no idea. But if you know the lyrics to Bad Habit, he gets incredibly profane about people cutting him off. And I think that would be hilarious.
That is a missed opportunity.
But it's so much more fun to yell, "Ay, ay, 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 ay!"
And the high score of that game, there was a real plateau. The time limit. I mean, because I tried and tried and tried, and I finally got I got the high score on that, but it was just like $100 more than the second. So
And say what you will about it, but the Crazy Taxi was one of the most busy tonight. So whenever I tried to play it, it was the hardest to get to.
So I think generally and maybe the most polarizing game.
It is polarizing.
All right, next one, another one of my favorites, WarioWare Inc. I think Steven suggested this.
Lovely, lovely game.
He suggested the Game Boy version, but I just went ahead and got the
yeah.
GameCube version.
Which has a lot of the Game
It's
Boy
virtually
games.
the same game, but it's just less of a. It looks a little bit better, but whatever.
It's on a TV.
Yeah,
It's not on a little screen.
And
you
you
can
were
play on
nice
GameCube
enough
Player.
to.
Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm done.
I was saying, and you were nice enough to pick the mode that like had the Game Boy Advance screen on the TV, so it still made it look like a Game Boy Advance for you.
And that game added
Represent.
hundreds of more games to the tournament, essentially, because every time you played it, you would get new micro games
God.
on it.
And I'll say, Heather had never played that before.
Yeah, I was sitting next to her when she
And-
first.
Yeah, Heather had never played that before. She's never played any
Heather
of the
is our
WarioWares.
women's champ, by the way. She couldn't join us tonight, and we're going to have her on a future podcast. But
And no, she didn't have a pink wrestling belt either.
no, but she she didn't do any Hurricane Ranas either.
But I was sitting next to her when she first played WarioWare, and she's like, "What is this? I don't. What's
Did she
going
have
on?"
a Nintendo-gasm? Because I certainly did the first time I
Oh
played
my
it.
gosh! So it seems like she really enjoyed it.
She was playing
and
it
it's-
the whole night when I would look over.
Yeah,
WarioWare,
yeah.
she was
So she went ahead and parked there once everybody else was kind of done with it, and
That makes me so happy.
seems
She had a lot of
like
fun.
she had a lot of fun with it. And it's so I'm gonna say, when it comes to like these games, anybody that experiences them the first time, you experience it the first time and you go, all right, so how can I play this again, and what other experiences there are there? And I told a couple people tonight about how awesome not only that game is, GameCube, so you can still play it on the Wii, but the Wii one is phenomenal. That was
Smooth move.
you guys let me borrow your GameCube. How did that go? Did you let me your Wii? Which was the first time I really got to play with the Wii, and you let me borrow Smooth Moves, and I had so much fun playing that. And tonight, being able to play that again, it's a fun, quick,
Heather got 35 on that.
Oh my gosh, which you got, what, 40? 41. So that's really close to, Senor Capitan, who oh, sorry. Let's make this right. El Capitano.
And it personifies as a variety, too. I mean, having all those games and getting intense, and then you can sit down, boom, 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 play that a few times, and then go back out.
And that is certainly one of the more intense ones. I mean, you've got to, if anything that we played tonight, that's when you've got to be like the most
And there's
like
that one
trigger
moment
happy.
where there's a one moment where you're just like, I have no idea what to do at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, and then it's gone.
Half the time you have that feeling, you get it right, and you don't know how.
But there's
And
that
the other
fear
half,
every
you're like,
time.
what the
Well,
fuck?
and just as a tie-in to something we were talking about previously, the WarioWare series, no matter the changes that they do graphically, those just keep rocking. So, that was wonderful to have, and even the kids. So the little tiny, 2 and 3-year-olds sat down and, oh yeah, they were, Dee was playing it, and Zach was playing it. And, they're not going to catch it every time, but stomping the Goomba, like, yeah, they actually stomp the Goombas, the peeling the banana, it keeps you on your toes, but it's so different and it's so fresh.
I've always wondered with that game how much you have to know the rules of gaming, or how much it's just instinctual and you just do it.
Right.
I think it's the latter.
The instinctual is fantastic. It's the people who aren't like the big gamers that come. They get exactly what to do. I mean, they might not get it quick enough, especially as it speeds up, but like they catch every bit of it. But it's also funny too. As anyone who remembers playing WarioWare for the first time, it's fun watching the people who've never played it before, because you hear them over there like laughing and then trying to figure out the next one after they've just gotten over whatever silly thing just happened. Like the first time we played, we got to the game where you had to like shake the dog's paws, and like I couldn't even play because I was like laughing for like 10 minutes after it, because the dog's face is hilarious. I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, Heather had the
snot
same
up in your-
reaction. Heather had the exact same reaction, because I think afterwards, I think she ended up losing out her other lives, because she was like, the dog, and I didn't shake his paw, and the tears were running down his face.
And there's some that even if you try to wonder what it's about, it's complete nonsense. It doesn't make any
I
sense.
found myself giggling a little bit because, like you said, for the first timers, this is my first time playing the game.
Really? What, really?
Yeah, I've never played
I thought
WarioWare.
everybody played that game.
No,
It's a good game for Nintendo fanboys.
it was, yeah. But like, I just noticed there was this one guy where you had to like keep the ball from going, breaking, and there was this guy like jiggling like on the bottom platform, and he was your hold up, like your bar. As
yes, yeah,
you know what I'm
shaking
talking
like a
about?
fish.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
fish
out of
motion.
water,
I'm like,
yeah.
what is going on here?
So you've never played it. Heather never
No.
played it. Sam, Amy, have you guys played this before?
I didn't do as good as Heather, but
I had never played it, and it was interesting when like you said, it was very instinctual. I either knew what to do right away, or I was either laughing and then missed it. But does anyone remember the one where his eyes fall off his head? Does it no?
Was it
I only
Wario?
saw it once. Yeah, it was Wario there, and then his eyes were here, and I guess I was supposed to get his eyes up to his face.
Yeah, you build his face, and if you don't do it, he falls apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I didn't, and then I was laughing for a good 3 minutes afterwards because this poor guy's face is not there anymore.
It's such a great game. I love
And
that game so much.
That was a lot of fun. It has such a great replay value on it because you never know what you're going to get. It speeds up so quick, so you've got such a short period of time to do what you have to do. But so much fun, so much fun.
All right. Thumbs up on that one then.
Pachow.
Oh, cool. Now, Tatton's suggestion, which I kind of hated. I mean, I liked the game, but I didn't think it was appropriate.
dun dun dun.
Geometry Wars 2 for the Microsoft Xbox
That is a win.
360.
I like that one.
We had to have a modern game, so there we go. I didn't think it fit.
Wait, what do you mean?
I didn't think it fit. I don't think it was competitive. I think that it was either you got 4 million or 10.
What? Wait,
There's-
no. So
You
how
liked
many?
it?
No, how many people? So Dave, Heather, Corey, Matt. They would go. They'd play.
Sam?
They'd get the high score. The next person come and beat them. So they'd go back and they'd play again, and then somebody else would come up and beat them, and then everybody would keep playing each other.
Okay,
to try to get,
That would be the definition of competition,
so
sir.
competition-wise.
Okay,
honestly,
I did not know that was going on with
I
that
think,
game.
I think there was more competition with that game
Oh,
than
I
several of the others.
I didn't know that. I was over here running the multiplayer game tournament, so I didn't really check out the single player and what was intense and what wasn't.
Yeah, and I think the way you set it up with the whatever level you set it up at,
The 3-minute deadline.
3-minute deadline, it was like the Crazy Taxi with the 5 minutes. It was like you got to go in, you got to shoot them down, and you didn't have to worry about losing all your lives or whatever. And you could kind of watch the timer and do your last bomb right before to get those extra points. And and it frustrates me because I don't have a brain for Mr. Driller. I don't have the thumbs for Geometry Wars. I can't do Robotron. I can't do the double move.
Do you know how
with
many
one
fanboys you
joystick.
just turned on by a girl saying Robotron?
I can't.
You kind of made me a little blood flowing down south, if you know what I mean.
I can't do the. Wow.
Sorry. Sorry. That was as clean as I could say without...
Like in Mississippi?
Not really. Jeez.
I can't do directions with one thumb and shooting with the other. They just both kind of go in the same direction. My thumbs are built for Katamari.
Dual thumbsticks, yes, it gives confusion.
So it frustrates me, but it was fun to sit there and try and beat my own score, even though I knew I wasn't ever going to beat Corey or anybody else.
Yeah, that got really heated towards the end.
Yeah, or whoever set the high score. Who set the high score again, Chris?
My husband's face.
I had the high score, but Tatton beat my score but never turned in a card.
Actually, it ended up being...
Somebody beat your high score.
Yeah.
They didn't turn in a card.
it
hold
was
on
you?
a second. So it ended up being my husband's face.
So I actually played it the first time on DS, and my biggest problem with it was the thumbs. It was very hard to play on the DS, and this is my first time I played it on an Xbox. And I remember trying to show my girlfriend here the game before, and she's like, I want to play that. And then I think with now it's a buy when we go home. So so thanks for having me.
Hey.
I never realized that the strategy of Geometry Wars was to use the bombs early. I think Brad was telling me, because he saw me playing it, and he's like, well, you have 4 bombs. Why aren't you using them? And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I think it's the trigger. The right trigger triggers off the bombs. And it made my score go to 500,000, which is what I wanted anyway. I knew I wasn't going to, meet Dave or Corey standards as far as a score, but it was definitely fun. I enjoyed it.
I think the scoring itself, the way it's exponential, if you look at up top to bottom, 4 million is the top score, and then second place had third place had 3 million, so third place only got 70 points.
Who had last? What
that's
was
what
last
I didn't
place?
like about it.
What was last place? Hold on. I just want to find out.
Becky Hoffman.
I think it's a good choice because it's a modern game.
35,000.
Classic game DNA, and if it's going to be their one modern game.
So
The scoring didn't work for my tournament format. I wish I could have come up with a better
It
system.
was asteroids.
Well, but if your score wasn't in it, then there wouldn't have been that big of a point spread between the percentages, between first and second.
No,
right?
it would have been 3 million versus everybody else would be just as bad.
Well, I'm not saying it to harp on you. I'm just saying it to. Who got 3 million?
Tatton. But then then Dave got 3.5 million.
Oh, okay. Never
Okay, so Dave would have been first, and what was the next score after that?
Matt with 1.5.
So it'd have been
that's
like
kind of a big
50%.
deal.
That's a 50% drop off. So that's what I'm saying. The exponentiality of the way the scores increase. It's a cool scoring structure for the game itself, but competitive wise, as a percentage of the high score, it's too big of a spaghettified effect. Spaghetti effect for black holes, right? So you get
Flying
spaghettified.
spaghetti monsters?
You get expanded. Yeah, flying spaghetti monster. Exactly.
It's a pretty game.
It is pretty. I
It's
love watching it. But in the same respect, when it starts getting faster and there's so much coming at you, like I can't. My eyes just glaze over and my brain shuts down and my thumbs are just like
modern asteroids,
which is a technical term.
And that was the reason why I picked this one, is because I wanted something I wanted something modern in the mix to play, just to have like some kind of modern representation, because it's majority all retro, and there are still some modern games that are coming out that have a retro feel, like they seem to be like the spiritual successors of the generation that that we grew up with and love. But the other reason why I picked it was because it's a very simple concept. There's really not a lot to learn. It's just you can learn it in like the first 15 seconds, but then it gets hard really fast. So you've got to play it over and over and try to get better at it.
Like you said, I'm sorry. Like what you said. Like it's very modern and old school, like the how it plays, but I like that game for that. I like it because there aren't a lot of those games being made anymore in today, because a lot of people are playing like the Call of Duty and all that. But I like that game specifically as like an old school gamer, and I just like the way that it played, and I think that it had that old school feeling for the tournament.
Well, you just have to admit, Tatton, that you've just always been in love with Geometry Wars. Like, I remember when you first had it, you're like, come look at this! Come look at this! So, there's that. And so next time, what we'll do is we'll just all play, instead of Geometry Wars, we'll replace it with I Made a Game with Zombies in it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no, or Everyday Shooter, because then...
Oh, Everyday Shooter.
Yeah, see, did you hear that? Because he's all about the Everyday Shooter. And if you want to take modern retro, oh my gosh, Everyday Shooter is so very much that.
Well,
okay, so never mind.
And I do have to, since you brought it up, I do
Never
have to
mind.
tell this story. So when the Xbox 360 came out, I didn't care at all about the 360. Didn't pre-order it. Nothing came out that I cared about it. Like, it was just completely 100% off of my radar. So my buddy at the time entered the Mountain Dew contest, and he won one and got it early. And one of the games that popped up there before the launch weekend was Geometry Wars. So he brought it over and we were playing it. I'm like, this is the greatest game I have ever played.
I know. Well, we went over to your house, and you literally, this is the greatest game I've ever played.
Yes.
You need to see this.
Launch weekend, like launch night, 5 hours I spent driving around to every Meijer in town, every Walmart in town, every GameStop, everything that was doing a midnight launch, like trying to find it. We went down to Cincinnati, like first thing the next morning, ended up finding one at a local game store that the guy who owned the game store like went and waited in line at Toys R Us for like 3 hours to get it. And he like marked it up like $150. So I'm like racing back from Cincinnati to Columbus to go buy it. Bought it for like $150 over retail price. Didn't buy any games for it. Went home and bought Geometry Wars and played it for like 7 hours.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I knew you were like glazed over about it. I mean, I could just tell. And then, and I know Chris liked Robotron and stuff, so of course he was. And then when we had it at home, you sat and like played the hell out of it. The Wii version, getting all your achievements and stuff, and it's just, even just watching it, my brain just goes crazy.
God.
And the sad thing is as much as I play it, I'm still not really all that good at it. Like on my leaderboards, I'm like almost to the bottom of all of my friends. It's horrible, but I still love it.
All right. The last single-player game Originally, Tatton and Becky are in the process of buying a pinball machine.
Working on it.
And the original plan was to include that machine in the competition, but they don't have one yet. So I went with the next best thing and played Gorgar on the Williams collection for the Nintendo Wii.
Okay, so I have to say something about it. While they were setting up yesterday, I was on the phone with Tatton, and we were talking to each other, and I was trying to figure out what crazy game was playing in the background, because the sound effects sounded like a bunch of stuff that I know from like playing 8-bit stuff when I was little, like Atari 8-bit stuff, and I was all excited about it. And it turned out to be the pinball simulator. Like the last game that I would assume had those sound effects was actually a pinball simulator.
Well, let's let Sam, our resident pinball wizard here, who destroyed everybody.
Oh, Lord.
He played 2 games and 750,000 points on his second try, and destroyed everybody else in the competition.
Second place was 600,000 something.
I'll look that up. But go ahead. Let's let Pinball Wizard over here say something first while I look this up.
First off, if you do get a pinball table, I will win next year. That's first off.
Fair enough, dude.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those things that I've come back to pinball after the bowling alley arcade days of my youth and realized that I have an unadulterated love for pinball. And so I just kind of sit down and play, sometimes listening to my headphones and get into the zone, and I realize I'm very good at it, and I love it deeply. That's about it.
Second place was Tori with 432,000.
Tori was competitive. She
only got 57 points out of that. So that's another ringer game where I might have.
She was giving me dirty looks all night, and not even like the personal dirty looks, like the more like the I can't even describe.
Yeah,
but
that's a pretty fucking good score.
Yes.
430,000 is a pretty goddamn good score.
On your second game.
On Matt's, not Matt, Sam's second game, he gets 750,000.
See, I play the game at home on the Xbox, and I have $1 million on there, which I can't remember if I got over million. It's I had to reset it, but I don't know if it breaks or.
Do you have the Wii version or just the Xbox?
I had the Wii version. No, what happened was I was playing Pinball FX2, which is kind of has floaty physics, physics, and my friend Jay was like, "You need to play the Williams edition. I have the Wii version." So I took it home, put it in, and upon playing it, realized that I want to play the Xbox version for the achievements, like. A crybaby kid, and I didn't even play the Wii version again, and went out and got the Xbox version.
I love the Wii version because of the Wiimote.
Yes.
It feels most like a pinball machine without a machine,
and it's very intuitive to have the nunchuck and the regular controller and just kind of shake it a little bit, like you're tilting. Which I do enjoy, but I do love the look of it, looking like I'm actually playing the actual game on the Xbox. I can go either way with it, which is obvious because I guess I won.
You're by pinball. Actual.
I just want to acknowledge that I called it Golgar all night instead of Gorgar. No one corrected me, so maybe no one noticed.
I would like to say when he found out about this tournament, all he would talk about was, I think they're going to have a pinball game. I think they're going to have a pinball game. And that was, if you guys would have never had another game in here, he would have been satisfied. 12 hours, pinball. That's what he came for.
That's beautiful.
I mean, it was my excuse to myself to play it for leisure, quote unquote, because then I can feel like I'm striving to something when in actuality, if you didn't have the tournament, I'd be playing it anyway, and she would be giving me the stink eye. Yes, so thank you for having that game.
Anybody else?
I played it once, and then I saw Sam score, and I didn't play it
again.
again. So I thought it was fine. I think it's a really amazing version. I've never seen. I haven't heard of this game before, or this version.
You said that it was your favorite pinball game, or one of your favorites.
My favorite. It's lame. I like Addams Family.
Oh yes,
that's everybody's favorite.
Pinbot? You play Pinbot.
I love Pinbot.
Pinbot's great,
but I think if you mix the historical significance of it being like one of the first.
Yeah.
The electrical, I don't know, the first one with like sound effect or like voice samples, and it's like the first modern pinball table, but it still has enough of a retro feel, and it's got that 70s misogynistic devil sort of Yeah, and it plays incredibly fast, and it's not like overly cluttered with shit.
Right. Well,
Almost
and
Sam Hain, I see a little bit.
somebody at some point was I don't remember who it was, but they said, well, usually in a pinball game, the 3 letters at the top, if you hit the flipper, it changes, it moves so that you can
get all 3 lights.
Get all 3 lights with your ball. And I said to them, I think it might have been Tori, because they sounded disappointed that you couldn't do it on the Wii. And I said, if you could do it in the real game, it would do it on the Wii.
Yeah.
So this game just doesn't do that.
And
then she was like, oh, and she was all like, I got to stand up to play. I can't sit down. And yeah, she was.
That's awesome to hear.
See, now I thought that you picked it. I thought you picked it because it like the other games with having a time limit. It's kind of unforgiving. It's not very. It's very easy to. Upon immediately shooting your ball, to have it fall off the side without you being able to control it.
Taxi or
and it doesn't save your ball and give you another
Space
chance.
Shuttle or
Taxi or Space
saves.
Shuttle, or there's a lot of games in the collection that you
bumpers.
could play for a long time if you're good.
And there's bumpers too that will block it and keep it going for way too long.
It was
and
a medium because like Jive Time on there is the worst.
Oh, Jive Time is
that's like a '60s machine, and
that's not
like
designed
brutal.
to like hold a game for long periods of time.
That was the thing too, like Corey and I really struggling with as well, which I think made it good for like the timing wise was the
Corey was pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, he was pretty good, but he and I were both at the same boat where like you watched me last night. I think the first game I played, I got like 30,000 points or something because you can fire off the ball in the very beginning. And you don't get a free ball if you go like right into one of the sides.
No saves.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he said he played one where he literally only got to hit the ball like 3 times because every single time he fired it off, it went to the side.
It'd be interesting also to next time have a multiplayer or a multi-ball on it. That would be kind of actually. I don't know if that would be good or bad, but that would just be strange to up the ante with the scores.
Yeah, there were several games I played where the first 2 balls or the first ball or my second 2 balls, I hit the plunger, it would go up, it bounced around a little bit, and then it came down and it ducked out the side. And I'm not good at tilting.
That's the thing, though. It is the trickiest tilt because I can do it, but that's 50% of the time. And
I don't want to hear what you can't do in that game, asshole.
I think it had an impressive like anti-gravity magnet. I'd like to see that in person. I like that.
Which is very authentic to the
actual game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that does it for the single-player games. Then we also had the multiplayer game tournaments. The first tournament was You Don't Know Jack for the Xbox 360. It went a little long in my view. It was nearly.
I hashtagged Hexadecathlon.
Oh, that's clever. I think everybody enjoyed it, but it's like even with only 11 questions and 4 players at a time, it just took too long.
You periodically heard raucous laughter coming from the side of the room. It was.
So Chris's mom was here watching the wee ones, and I told her you need to go downstairs and check out You Don't Know Jack, and she was like, "Are you trying to say something about the things I know?" And I'm like, "No, you need to go downstairs and check out You Don't Know Jack." And apparently she got a big kick out of it, and Chris's dad came down and watched it, and it's so wonderfully tongue-in-cheek, and we're serious, but at the same time you can't be serious because you're laughing at everything, and so you're laughing hard enough that you will screw up the next question.
Well, and that was the funny thing too, is like it was definitely like Second to Combat. That was the one that the most people were just watching, like spectator watching. But the other thing too was there were so many, like, because it reads everything off, you could be playing other games and still follow. And even though I wasn't playing anything at the time, like I would hear, like especially when they had the question that came up, the this or that, where it was a Gandhi tweet or a Taylor Swift tweet, and like the people who were playing were like laughing over there because they kept hearing these, and I'm sure
none of the Spice Girls are smart. That one got a good laugh.
Well, yeah, and there was one point when I came downstairs because when that started, I was upstairs a lot, and I came downstairs and I just heard Captain Crunch, Captain Morgan, or Captain
Kangaroo.
I don't even remember.
Captain Planet.
And it was Captain Morgan. It goes Captain Morgan, Captain Crunch, Captain Planet in order of succession. So you had to know which one came first. So it would be like the Captain Morgan came out in the 1800s. 1800s. Was it 1900s?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it was just you'd walk by and you'd just catch like these bizarre things. And when I was playing it, everybody was leaning forward, like into the TV, even though there was a voice reading off the question. So it wasn't like a matter of I have to read
it
the
had
screen.
fun controllers too.
And yeah, we used the we used Scenic controllers for it. Yeah, which was nice because they were wireless. And I have to say, when it comes to my favorite type of humor, it is wordplay. I love it when they're able to do wordplay, and that game is so full
right.
of just
and the
clever.
wrong answer of the game, like
brought to you by Bloodco.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing is that the wrong answer of the game is a beautiful part because you have to have a sense of humor because that's. Like, to get that answer, you have to be tuned into their sense of humor. And the funny thing is, my round, it was the Bloodco thing, and I saw the thing that said, which monster doesn't have a heart? And my brain said, pick Dracula, because that's going to be the wrong answer of the game. And it came up, and I picked Frankenstein. And then I was like, but why did I do that? Because then I was overthinking it, and then Chris got it because it was the wrong answer of the game.
You have to really concentrate on that game.
I found myself overthinking a bunch, even though like I got probably like 2 answers right in that game.
I know what it was. When they had it was the magnet, and it was like, which superhero is most magnetic? And the answers were Iron Man, Gold something, or they're not superhero, but it was Iron Man, Goldfinger, Tin Man, and Silver Surfer. And I wanted to pick Iron Man, but then I said, no, wait, he's human. He's not magnetic. And so I picked the Tin Man because he's made of metal. And it was just like, I was putting too much thought in it because Iron Man is made of, it's iron.
It's magnetic.
You're just looking for iron, Linda.
And
you're not thinking Iron Man is so-and-so Stark and he's actually human and he's doing this. And,
that just shows the
iron.
level of complexity when they create these questions. They want you to
and
think
also,
this way.
can't be.
Need you to think. You do need to think about some of them.
It can't be overstated how hard it is to be funny in games too. Like sometimes that falls very, very flat, and to do it yeah, but also
moments when people are just staring at the screen like, oh god, is this over yet?
Yeah.
But I think for the most, and it was really
and it
long.
takes the sting out of losing too to have it be fun.
What did our non-gamer think, Amy?
Well, I felt stupid, but I enjoyed the humor of the game, and I enjoyed watching other people play. It was hilarious. I'm just not very smart. I didn't think the way that
She's
the
being
game
humble.
answered. So I didn't do well, but I really enjoyed it, especially watching.
I think not being good at trivia and not being smart are very different things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
in
a lot of pop culture, and that's the thing is that.
And I retain all that information so she doesn't have to. She just asks me.
Well, and the wordplay definitely plays a big part of it because, like, I like playing trivia games, and I'm not great at them, but I'm usually not terrible at them. But when the whole overthinking thing, this game like leads you to overthink, and if you try to be too smart or try to be too quick or whatever, like it's gonna catch you up.
I felt panicked. I felt like, oh god, I should know this. Oh, wrong. Okay.
So I'm going to say
She feels panicked at red lights. So
so there was a lot of religious stuff in there too. Like there were some questions. Yes, Jesus-zilla. Yes, I'm gonna say that. But there was some religious stuff in there that, like, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Catholicism. So
And that was actually the funniest thing was when they did
Catholicism
the
Chaos Emerald?
Yeah, they did a Jack attack, and it was like they find the things that were related to each other. It was like religious symbols or something, and it was Catholicism, and the first thing that came up was Chaos Emeralds, and it's like, what a great question for this group, because like half the people laughed and got it.
I want to do another. Do we want to do another trivia game next year? I'm thinking Buzz 8-player.
Yeah, I think so because
I want stuff that non-gamers can have a chance at.
That's the nice thing about the trivia games is that it definitely gives a lot of the people who aren't going to be as good at a lot of the games something to really be engaged in, something that they can try to get like the high score in. And definitely from watching this one tonight, regardless of how long it took, it was one of the more engaging ones. But
Buzz isn't as good as You Don't Know Jack, but it's 8 players, so it'd be a hell of a lot faster.
And if you have these games and you have a group of people you should play them because
That's what.
when
they
else
have
are you gonna
for.
play? Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe next time too, if we can work out the logistics of it, it's almost like the trivia game needs to run parallel along with like some of the smaller multiplayers. Like we could have probably done the duck hunt and the you don't know Jack at the same time if we had been able to like to split up and manage it.
No, I had my reasons, but I won't go into the mathematics of why I did it that way.
Oh
but-
yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying like we could offset the time things. I know towards the end of the day we started losing some people before it ended.
Anything else on that before we go on?
No.
Okay. The second one. This is my highlight of the day. I'm proud to have done this in real life. We had Saturn Bomberman. We had. That makes me feel so
sort of
good.
holy grail to do this.
We had 21 people present for Saturn Bomberman. So what I did was 3 7-player matches, and that we had 3 qualifiers from each of those 7, and then we had a wild card, and I had a 10-player Saturn Bomberman final,
Which was the highlight for me of the day.
on a big screen TV, and
Still tiny.
still goddamn tiny. This is why I bought a house with a basement that I could have a lot of people in my game room. Seriously, that was what I was thinking. I could have 10 people at one time play this one particular video game, and I didn't even own the game yet.
So,
Or all the controllers.
Or all the controllers. It took me a
Because-
month to find
yes.
10 Saturn controllers in
And
good
in
shape.
fact, I do believe you mentioned it because I recently listened to the podcast on the last tournament that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Bomberman, and you
Yeah,
came to
it's a
fruition,
video
so-
game wet dream of mine. Again with the sexual references, but it's true.
okay,
no, I'm right
so
there with you because, like, I thought it was a treat even to play the game. I didn't really do so well, but I just was like, oh my god. Like, I don't know. After tonight, I don't know when the next time I will play that game because it is such a hard game to find.
I'm
And
thinking about doing
it's
one
so
at
fun.
Korg's, but I don't know if it'd be as fun if people had to pay to be in it, but whatever.
okay, so buzzkill. I have some things to say.
Okay.
All right. When we did the 10-player, it was neat, but I wanted to be Professor Higgins, and that was not an option. I understand doing the random, and we were just handed controllers, but there was no option. We couldn't figure out who was who. So when it became
Yeah.
we were untangling the controllers to figure out who needed to have which one.
I don't think there's a good way to do it.
And
I really
so,
don't.
well, with the 10 controllers, it's a problem. The biggest problem I had was Chris and Tatton had to fill in, and we got to the point to where we were looking at the winner, and the winner was standing there waiting for the game to end while we had to kill off Chris's character or Tatton's character. Like, I know we had fillers.
I didn't know that happened.
But
Well,
it happened a couple times.
But that happened with all of them because of the way the game had to break down. Because what happened was we took the three top placing people in each of the groups, but instead of ending the game after the one round and
She's talking about the final.
reset. Oh, in the final?
Yeah, like the 10-player final.
Well, here's what happened.
Oh,
the 10-player
that's-
final was the first to 2.
Yeah,
So it could have been up to 11 matches, but it ended after 3. But we had everybody sitting there, and everybody's into it. So
It
the
was-
people that
but-
the Tatton and I won.
And
for first and
that was the
second
problem,
again,
is
and that's
because-
why I dropped out.
Which
Like
is-
we kept playing,
Which is the problem I have
and we
that
should have stuck around to kill
like,
ourselves. But I had other organizing crap to do. It
so-
wasn't good. I
The
understand.
mistake we made was that we should have ended out of that when. Yeah, we should have ended out and just started with 8.
Right. It will take it down. The thing is that I will not complain because I was able to play 10-player Bomberman
Yes.
for the second time in my life. I love Bomberman so much, and I'm going to say how many people got to play Bomberman for the first time tonight, how many people actually enjoyed what they were playing and would play another Bomberman.
Would we do it
Agreed.
next year?
How
would,
many?
Would we do it
I would
next year?
definitely play
If
that
we
again
can
next
work the
year.
kinks out of it, Saturn Bomberman. This is the only way to play Saturn
Oh,
Bomberman.
for sure.
You can't get 10 people together, and hopefully
No.
we'll have more room next year. So it's going to be
Fuck Xbox Live. You can't
okay,
do that on
yeah.
Xbox
All right.
Live, bitches.
Well, and I gotta say this too.
Teabag
but
that.
Before we move on past
Sorry.
this, how many people played Bomberman for the very first time today and won the Bomberman tournament?
Mr. Jason Dahmer.
Jason had never played
Jason-
Bomberman. We were
Traffic
explaining it to
Yes.
him
Yeah.
when he started,
Wow.
and he
And
he ran away with it.
He did, which was wonderful. It's so much fun. It's so much fun, not only because I'm going to say I love Bomberman, I love the mythos, and I love the cute little characters, and I heart Bomberman in a big way. I suck so much at it because I blow myself up all the time.
Same.
But being able to watch people play it and enjoy and have fun and win, and like you get to the point to where you have a draw, but damn it, it was close. You know, it's those moments.
I love Sarah's comment. You bunch of assholes.
I'm impressed at the processing power of the Saturn. I guess it's kind of known for 2D, but it was not slowing down at all.
Well, but like you said, I mean, it was kind of frustrating at the beginning because everybody just kind of picked up a controller, and you said, move around to figure out which one you are. Well, everybody's moving left and right.
Yeah. What are you
so how would you know which one you are?
We set it to random.
I didn't move and looked to find the one that wasn't moving and was like, okay, that's me. I mean, and so that was kind of a little janky.
That's kind of part of the strategy, though, when you set it to random placement.
Because some people were moving around and they were already setting up bombs. And you're like, oh, wait, we're not going yet. We haven't figured out who we are yet. And
but we did see our characters before we went to the...
Yeah. But the characters are... I have like a 47-inch widescreen? It's a 47-inch widescreen TV, and it's still the characters are too tiny to see from a
For like
distance.
the championship, you should do like a 50-inch
projector
or like a
projector
TV.
next.
Projector?
Bickety
You guys got one, don't you?
projector. No, we're going to have to acquire one.
We'll get a decent one for next time.
Yeah,
but I do have to admit though, because I think first of all, this has to come back next time. Like if anything is going to come back,
a lot that want to come back.
This has to come back again. But honestly, we could prepare for this better next time because we could just print off some little stickers with the icon of who the characters are and just put them on the joystick.
Check
because
out the big brains on Brad.
Yeah,
Sorry, not Brad.
Steve and I went to school together too, and I think a little bit of our old school rivalry came out during that game where we went after each other one too many times, and
trash talking, and
it just we both died. So.
And killed
ourselves.
Yeah, what's his name kept killing me because he was right next to me in the corner, and it was like the first 2 rounds of he won the second round. So the third round was the first round that I actually got to play. I actually got out of my corner. But then I couldn't win because, so, but that was frustrating because there was only one brick separating the two of us. And so we broke it down, and then he just came after me and trapped me and bombed me, and I'm like, ah!
Big hit though. Everybody liked it.
Just Saturn Bomberman is really my favorite game on the Sega Saturn. It's my favorite game. I think I'm going to be one of those people that I think it's my favorite game on any Sega system.
Hey Becky, do you like Saturn Bomberman?
Oh my god! we have a sealed copy in our collection, and it's one of those we're not normally sealed collectors, but having the whole thing and the cute characters and Professor Higgins is in it, and not only that, but Professor Higgins won, and that makes me so happy. I love that game, and it's just so cute.
Professor or Master?
Is it
Master Higgins?
Is it Master Higgins?
You've been wrong.
No.
Oh no.
I don't know.
Oh my god, it is Master Higgins. I suck so hard.
It's Henry Higgins.
Yeah, mistake.
And to go back to your point about not being able to pick who it was, one of the problems with that is that everyone's going to try to pick someone or not be able to pick someone, and that adds a bunch of time to the character selection.
There's no good way to do it.
Right, there really isn't. I mean,
it's just...
If we go ahead and we have each of the controllers around and we know who those characters are going to go with, if you've got the icon on the character, if you don't know who the character is, you can look at the character and go, hey, it's Professor No Master Higgins, and then look up on it and know what you have in it.
I will
number
make
2 next to the icon, a number controller.
I wish the game would actually point out who's who, though, in the startup thing. I think that's a game flaw.
Yeah, because there's nothing on that.
There's nothing. It just starts. There's no one,
it's
2,
white
3, 4,
bomber,
5,
black
6.
bomber.
Yeah, that's
didn't
pretty...
expect anyone to ever do this.
Yeah, that's like
we'll let you play 10, but no one's ever going to do it. I mean,
this will be the best bullet point ever.
And I will say, kudos to Chris for not throwing in the 3D controllers on it, too.
Oh, yeah. I could have done third party.
The Webternets does say Master Higgins.
It does say Master Higgins. I suck. I suck so hard.
These were all standard.
I was so excited.
I'm
officially
controllers.
the worst fan ever.
Did I notice that they had Bonk in there from Bonk's?
Yeah,
hell yeah, they had Bonk.
I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
you can friend him on Facebook. You can.
I don't know that he would accept my friend because I'm bad because I called him Professor.
Well, I tell you
Game
what,
of promotion.
I will make it up to you. Tomorrow we'll play Saturn Bomberman, and I promise I'll let you be Master Higgins.
I'll be really jealous.
But I want to be Professor Higgins, and he's not in the game, so...
I'll even call him Professor Higgins for you.
Women are never satisfied.
I thought this was by far my favorite Bomberman game that I've ever played. Like, I've played.
Which ones have you played?
I played the ones for the PC. It was just regular Bomberman.
Yeah, so Saturn Bomberman 93.
No, it was.
Oh, Bomberman.
I don't remember
Bomberman.
The 3D ones aren't that good. They don't
The
feel
3D ones. There's the second one, which is the rare one on the
I don't remember.
on the Nintendo 64. There's Bomberman Second. It's
Second Attack. It's the one that plays like this, but it's not.
Yes,
it's not the adventure one.
Right, the adventure one's not so great actually, but the proper Bomberman games, like, they're puzzle games, but when you get in and you've got so much chaos going around you, when you've got enough people going, all but bets are out. There's no real strategy on it.
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
Well, wasn't there one for PS1?
There was.
There's a couple. Yeah, like I played one of those and I didn't
too. I think
I didn't think any of them really compared to this gameplay.
Yeah, the Dreamcast one isn't very good either.
This is Saturn Bomberman. It's sought after for a reason.
Oh yeah,
and being able to do the 10 players, you don't get that option on anything else. And we're gonna have to bust it out next time. We have the Saturn Bomberman multi-tap with Bomberman's head.
Oh wow!
So it's a multi-tap that's shaped like Bomberman's head, and it's gorgeous.
We should just do a not Hexadecathlon, just a video game party with just Saturn Bomberman.
Saturn Bomberman, and do You Don't Know Jack, because that was so much fun to play.
If you'll bring the controllers over, we'll do Saturn Bomberman for my housewarming party.
That'd be wicked sweet. That'd be wicked sweet.
All right. Next game was Tetris and Dr. Mario for the Super NES. Oh, we got an applause. I like that.
I'm angry, though. I didn't get to play Dr. Mario. I was so stoked. I told Becky and Tatton.
Well, what we did was we randomized which game you played for each match. So you could play Tetris or Dr. Mario, depending on what random.org says. So
no, but I like Tetris. I really want to play Dr. Mario.
And honestly, the Super NES version.
You've been talking about playing Dr. Mario for a really long time.
The Super NES version just has that Super NES matte finish to it. It's just not as shiny as the NES version. Yeah, it's good, but it's not just. It's like slightly off. I like it, but both games are on the same cartridge.
The problem with that is, though, if we can't do Nintendos, we'd have to go Tengen. If we were going to do 2-player, you got to get the Tengen.
Yeah, well, and I had an NES game already, so we couldn't have 2 NES games.
Right,
so, and that's coming up.
So yeah,
but I liked it. I think everybody. It wasn't a favorite, but I don't think anybody's like Goose sucks. Other than
that cart is such a competition cart. That really isn't. I'd like to play Tetris. Let me pop this thing in here because it's like no, I'm gonna play this. It does the you could. That's the one that'll let you do like a level of one and a level
mixed
of the
match,
other.
Which I didn't do because it would have taken too long. Because we only did one game, not even like a best of 5, just one game, just to keep the time moving, and that might have not been the best situation either. If it were like a serious Tetris Dr. Mario competition.
I don't. So when it comes to those, it's nice to have that represented, and having both of those being up. And being able to be played is really nice.
I'm not sure who even suggested it, but I think Amy wants to say something because she clapped.
Yeah, she's all about that.
Didn't you do well?
I did very well. Well, in my opinion.
Who did you play against at the end?
I don't remember.
Did you play against me? Did I beat you, or did Seth?
You got the.
I don't remember.
No, I played Steven. And Steven wiped me out in 3 seconds.
I had the same with Corey. Corey took me out quick.
But my strategy was in the. I think it's the World Championship cart was where I did the Thor Ackerland.
Amy finished second, so it must have been me and Julie and Amy were the top 3, and we did a round robin. So
thank you.
Very good, Amy.
Awesome.
I just as a kid, you don't have very many games, and I had Tetris and Dr. Mario, so I spent some serious time on those 2 games.
And it paid off.
Yes, and here I am today accepting my applause. Thank you, guys.
Yay!
And that was awesome because you weren't planning on playing when you first came.
No,
were you?
I wasn't. I came with Sam, and I was just gonna hang back and watch. But you guys were having so much fun. I had to join.
That's what we wanted to do.
That's the whole point of this. I mean,
I
feel bad for people like my brother's girlfriend. She does. I think she was kind of sick too, but I just didn't want her to be having a lousy time. And the people that left early, I was always concerned that they having a crappy time. But
And I think because I know
left early because they had stuff.
well, because 9 hours is a big fucking commitment. So
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: even if I had not played, you guys are all very open and you talked to me, and things I didn't understand, everyone explained to me. So it was nice. Even if I hadn't played, I would have enjoyed your guys' company.
Well, and that's the thing.
Nobody was
like,
aggro dicks.
That's kind of the second point of this is I mean it's competitive in the sense that you want to try to get better scores. We had the trophies and the prizes. We'll get to those at the end and everything, but it's this is really just a culmination of video games being fun, everyone getting together, having fun together, doing the same thing, definitely like springboarding off of each other's scores. But, just like the last one, and I'm sure, the next one, if we have anything to do with it, is, just let's, appreciate it all together.
Well, it really. I'm harping on the Saturn Bomberman, and I'm not harping on the Saturn Bomberman. Here's what I'm going to say.
We left Saturn
wonderful.
Bomberman.
What?
I said we left Saturn Bomberman.
We did. So I feel bad that I had negative things to say because I'm going to say, and he's walking out of the room. This was a fantastic experience. Again, this is so much fun. This is great. Chris does such a good job putting this on. And the little nitpicks, but how many games did I play for the first time tonight? How many games did I enjoy playing and want to go back to play again? How many people was I able to, how many people we could just go ahead and say, "Hey, there's lasers in that game. Oh wow, I didn't know about the lasers. We'll go back and play again." It was open, it was friendly, it wasn't overly, it wasn't dick competition. It was having fun with adults. It's something that is completely unique in that this is all done by a personal collector. This is so much fun. I never thought that having video games. My personal experiences when it comes to video games are really handhelds in my hand and watching somebody else play and being able to get in and have fun with everybody else. Everybody was open, cool. We had fun food. The kids were great. This is a great time. Thank you so much.
That makes me so happy. You said something like that last time too, and that's what I wanted to do.
Well, I think what's
yeah,
go ahead.
That really means a lot. I'm trying to be as sincere as possible. I'm speechless.
Well, and I think that's the cool thing too, is because sitting here looking around, I don't know how many games like Sam, you and Amy have, but Seth's a big collector. I know you've got a couple thousand games.
Yeah.
And Steven, you've got 1,000, over 1,000. Your collection's pretty big. Yeah,
and I grew up playing the Atari and NES and Super Nintendo. And although I don't collect, I've played through so many games. And what I was thinking is
a lot of games.
Yeah, and me and Steve, and coming here, I've seen consoles and games and played things that I haven't played in 20 years, and it's just brings back memories and yet experiences that are now, and it's just you go through the normal day after day of your life and hang out with people that but you never really share the same interests. So it's cool to get together with people who I'm meeting for the first time in most cases and having.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was going to say is that you got Tatton, Becky, and Steve hadn't met and
last time
the first Hexadecathlon, and now you guys are friendly and hanging out and stuff, and a bunch of people this time that I'd never met because Steve brought him in, or you guys brought him in, or Heather and Matt and all those people.
Dave, our winner.
Dave hadn't been here before. I knew Dave from the store, but it's and everybody's cool, and I had a lot of fun just talking with people up in the kitchen.
Seth, what did you say when you came down in the room the first time? Do you remember?
Oh my God! Well,
just put a smile on your face.
It always does. I am always in awe.
We're going to Mecca
every single time I come in here because everything is so clean and neat and orderly. And I've been to other past collectors' houses. I won't name the names, and everything is just all over the place. But everything is just so nice, neat, and orderly. And the first time I ever came down here, I was just amazed. I think I asked Chris 100,000 questions.
Yeah.
And I did it again tonight. And
No. You're fine.
Well, and I think,
I was
and I
always
think
questioning.
That's the cool thing is I think, because I certainly, I'm the same way. I don't want to judge like anyone else, as collectors, because I appreciate sealed collectors for the work it takes and everything. But what I love about like this group of collectors is we all collect because we love playing what we have and we love sharing what we have. And I think getting to come together in this kind of a tournament and having like the giant pool of games to pull from, to let a bunch of people who have never played a lot of these games get a chance to play them competitive, play them with friends and things like that. I mean, I think that's, to me, and I think maybe for you guys too, I think just from seeing this is like the heart of why we collect is because we like to play and experience and share those experiences with everyone else.
So, not to speak for you or anything, but I mean, it's kind of why you decided to try and have something like this is because you have
I have
4,000 games sitting down here, and you don't have the time to play as much as you would like, so nobody's playing them, and they're just sitting here, and that's a tragedy.
I want to share with people. I really
have
do.
a bunch of people over and let's play these damn games.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing that, sitting here, if you're sitting here listening to this podcast, what you don't see is the televisions and the systems hooked up to them. But, we've got the big guys that he normally has hooked up for himself. But then he's got, 10 televisions hooked up. So with each individual different consoles all hooked up. So this is a labor of love. This is doing... Yeah, well, I mean, that's, it's one thing to have the collection, but to have everything hooked up just for tonight. So we've got seating for everybody. We've got everything set up. It
was a little tight, but I think it's for the space I have, which is about good 800 square feet of space. So, we had about 20 people here. I don't think I could fit much more. If it gets any bigger, we're going to have to move it. But
which is tonight was intimate and awesome. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Upstairs we had snackings, and Linda kept up on that. But we also I got to try guacamole for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, I've never had it before.
You never had guacamole?
I've never had guacamole. But no, it was nice because we were all in the same playing field. If we needed to, we could all talk to each other while we were waiting for the tournaments to finish. We went upstairs and we were watching television, and we started talking about where we were on 9/11. And it's like, oh my God, we're adults having adult conversations about what life was like with the big, the cohort groups, where you've got the people, the time periods, and we were born in different years, but somehow we're all on the same page. And like, that's very much
Wait, I thought nobody smoked pot here.
Shut up.
Well, and I think that's the thing. Sorry, not to like stop your tangent, but just another thought I had with the beauty of it is that even like with the exception of like Chris and Tatton, even the collectors in the group, because your collection's so large and deep. That's what she said.
I'll show you later.
Even the collectors come across something in the tournament that they may not have played before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the people that have 1,000 games or 2,000 games, you have it, and you can say, "Here, let me show you it."
Go get Miner 2049 or Killer Bees.
Yeah,
exactly.
Chris definitely opens my eyes whenever I come to the past 2 Hexadecathlons now, but he's always like opening my eyes now and showing me like a new game or something like a new system, and I'm like, wow,
yeah,
I've never seen this before.
A console, if you've never played with before, you guys got me my Vectrex, and I had never played with a Vectrex before, but I want one when I wanted one my whole life, and they not only gave me that, but I got Berserk with it. And experiencing that for the very first time, I heart
My love for you is taking clicks. Is that copywritten?
Berserk. So
Not until you finish the sentence.
I loved that, and being able to, I've shown it to other people. So having that ability, when we go to shows and we're able to talk, geek.
You are the salesperson though. You know how to talk to people. You're so in love with what you talk about, and there's so much passion.
So
when you're talking about stuff, like you were talking to Heather about WarioWare, and I could just hear. I heard you talking about it and how great it was. And
I can't turn off
get
that
the DIY
person.
version for DS and get this, and it's so awesome to hear anybody that passionate about anything talk.
And we are able to. It's having the new experiences with everybody, but it's also being able to relate in that, it's great having this unwind afterwards,
Right.
but it's nice to be able to go, make these new experiences, but have it be reminiscent of sitting in my best friend's basements and playing games for the very first time, and experiencing those,
We're getting older. We don't have much chance to do that. So
we don't, and being able to, and have that drive to compete, because we were having a conversation. My husband and I were having a conversation last night, and I was saying, I don't like doing competitive games. I like playing things. You put a role playing game in front of me, and I'll rock its socks. But when it comes to doing the competitive stuff, I never did it, and I don't like doing it because I'm never good at it.
too many aggro people
And I really enjoyed playing, and I cuss like a sailor, but I enjoyed playing Miner 2049er because it was less of the trying to get that top score. I wanted to get to level 3, damn it. But being able to play that, and I walking in here and seeing all this stuff set up, and then seeing it for the first time, because I haven't played the Miner 2049er before. So we have it. Do we have it for the 8-bit system? Do we have it like a red cart?
I have it for 8-bit, but I don't have a system to play it on.
We will rectify that, Steven.
There's that Atari users group in Columbus. Get a cheap one from them.
Yeah, we will.
The
We will
Atari
try
computer
to.
enthusiasts?
Yes.
They meet at the Carl Road Library.
Talk to me. The guy came up. It's like, I heard you like Atari. I was like, I don't really own any Atari systems.
But they're the Atari
sorry.
computer enthusiasts. I mean, a lot of times they have the
They're
act,
trying
like,
to expand to games
game.
also to get more people involved because of a very
Okay.
small group.
an 8-bit, which is a computer.
Yes.
Well,
Is it
yeah, but
XCDS
I mean, they have.
Yes.
games?
That's like the game system version of
Mhm.
it. That's what I use tonight. But if you can find a cheap 400, that's good enough.
400 or
800. There's several of them.
Sorry, anyway.
Let's go on.
Went on a tangent.
We did the wrap up already, so we don't have to do the wrap up then. That was
Yeah, Tetris.
I love
And there we go with that.
That was Tetris. We were just talking about Tetris.
Yeah.
I did that, didn't I?
That's all right.
that was cool.
I heard the metaphor that podcasts are a thick lasagna.
Train of thought derailed.
Right.
All the
It's very,
no
very thick and
passenger
lots of
survived.
Now on to hunt the duck. Right?
Oh,
Duck,
yes.
duck hunt.
Duck hunt.
Oh,
One fucks,
Dyslexia.
2 fucks.
So this was suggested by Sean, and if most people don't realize that in Duck Hunt, the classic NES launch title, that if you play with the one duck variation, controller player 1 can control the single duck.
And this is something we never even had rumors about in
And it's
third
in the
grade.
instruction booklet.
I never knew that.
Who the hell reads the
I
instruction
never
booklet?
knew it.
Yeah,
Never knew that.
but
There was rumors
it's
that you
there.
could shoot the dog, of course, if you did certain things, but never something
But-
you could actually freaking do.
As glorious as that sounds, it's really not that great because the controls are kind of not very responsive, and the duck goes at angles instead of straight left, upright, left, down.
and
But it does add a
if you're good at that game, it doesn't really affect your.
right. What
Shot.
ended up happening was either the people shooting were really good or really terrible. There wasn't much in between. So in the later rounds, it was people getting 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and we had to do tiebreakers in like the faster rounds. So it ended up.
But it was good to have a Leica game, different control.
It's a classic. I think everybody would like playing it again, but
Yeah.
You perfected that, and then perfected that, and then perfected that, and then proved it again by perfecting it.
Yeah,
But,
I made
you
it to
know-
finals, and then Bidwell and I in the first round, we
it was like
We had
10
this-
to 9.
yeah,
it wasn't. It's not the
10 to
best
10.
competitive game. There's
I did have a lot of fun with it though.
yeah. I think it's a classic that everybody loves playing one time again, and with flat screen and HD TVs, even if you have an NES, you can't play light gun games. So it's going to be more of a rare occurrence to play these games. So I'm glad it got included more of as an archival. This is what we used to like.
It's the only tournament that I made it past the first round.
My
I made
wife
it
can shoot guns.
to the second round. But the thing is that I don't think that I was set up against a particularly bad shooter in the first round. But I had a lot more success being the duck the first round. Like, I don't know what happened with I think something happened with the controller, because the first round, I know that the duck kind of angles out on its own, but I was getting really good at controlling the duck. And I did the exact same thing with the same amount of time before my duck got shot, and it was not responding to the control. Like, it was not... There's a lag, I think. But I didn't have that lag the first time. You kept saying there's lag, and there was a little bit of a lag the first time, but I could still control it and get out of there. Like, I couldn't even go back and forth. Like, I was, like, zigzagging and serpentine and whatever the first round, and the second round... And it's not that they were shooting me right out of the gate necessarily. I had time that I could have been moving, and it wasn't moving according to how I was.
I saw the same thing when Steven and I were playing, and it seemed like when I was doing it, if I held down the direction before the duck came out, it ignored my direction until I changed direction. But if I waited until I saw the duck and then like changed the direction, like, then I had, like, full control. It's almost like it didn't register the button press, like, if you did it too early. But if you did it, like, right as it was coming, then it would. Which didn't matter because Steven deferred me anyway.
There was one duck with you, or whoever I played. There was one where I knew that I caused you to not shoot the duck. 1 out of 10. So.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, I missed 2 out of 10. And you were doing a good job because it was... In the beginning, like, I was every single duck on yours. I mean, I was, like, within a second of it coming out, like, I had it. And then you figured it out, like, 7 ducks in. And, like, 9 and 10, I couldn't do anything. Like, I was over.
So I have to say that watching other people play was very entertaining. So Chris, not Chris, but Chris, other Chris, was playing, and he was holding the gun as though he was playing like House of the Dead, and he was reloading at the end of every round, which was hilarious. And I think Tori and I were both like, "Are you reloading on duck hunt?"
He are serious business. I saw him shooting that too. But you know what? I did the same thing. My second round of the tournament, I put it right up to my face, held it with both hands, and looked through the sight.
That was a great strategy.
I freaking kicked ass.
So yeah. I tried to do that, and when I was trying to control the duck, she kept getting me right out of the gates. And I guess it was because I was holding the button down. So I will go ahead and try to confirm what you were saying about that. But my depth perception sucks. So when it comes to doing that, I was trying to shoot the ducks, and I think I got maybe 2 or 3 ducks. So now you did somebody did clay shooting.
I had to do a clay shoot for a tiebreaker. Okay.
That's what we did for the final. Was the clay shooting, and that was really hard.
We had both gotten 4 ducks, I think, and then I shot 1 clay, and I think the gentleman I was playing with shot 2, and then 4 just to rub it in my face.
That was the other Chris, yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. Oh, crap. No, we're still good. All right. I'll cut that out. That's funny, though, that you said that Chris was doing that, the other Chris, because he was giving me a hard time because I kept, like I couldn't get, like, a good, like, comfortable hold on it. And he's like, I like how he keeps, like, changing his grip. Like, there's going to be, like, some crazy recoil. That's funny that, like, he was teasing me about it, and he was, like, reloading off screen and everything.
He was reloading.
So, basically, the controlling the duck scheme is sounds better than it actually works in real life. 5th multiplayer tournament, Frog Bog for the Intellivision. One of my very first video games, and also notoriously of the movie Grandma's Boy. Maybe everybody that's seen that.
And I'm gonna say, I think Delia beat me on the when we did the video game roulette. I think
which
Delia
will air eventually, or we have already done it. I don't know yet.
I think Delia beat me, and I think that I don't remember who I played, but I got pwn-faced. I think I got 35, and Nate got like 472 or whatever. It's like bajillions.
But that was one of those games that was like so totally random that you had to just like either time it or. Luck.
You could either know what you were doing and be able to figure out the angles and the geometry of everything and score big time, or you just keep hitting jump and hope that you get something.
It's a cute game. I like a game where frogs jump and stick their tongues out. I like it.
But it's fun either way.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, I was sitting there. I had no idea what
It
I was
reminded me
doing.
of Battletoads when they get their health flies. Yeah.
Well, and actually, that's one reason that one of the things I really like about Frog Bog is it's fun to play a competitive game where you aren't playing like against someone. I mean, because you can't. The only thing you can really do to affect the other person is you can take a fly that they're about to eat by just getting to it first. But you can't like knock them into the water. You can't like aggressively change the way they play. It's like you're just both on the same playing field going for the same stuff. And I think that's kind of a neat to not have to like put someone out, but just kind of compete with them.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of changes how you play a little bit. And it was fun. Like I'm glad we did it.
I mean, for me, I felt it was totally random, but I played against Brad, I believe, and he got it. He knew somehow he knew how to do it.
Who's upstairs? Oh, okay.
Okay, so Frogbog, if you haven't seen it before, it is a beautiful game.
I've never. That was another one that I had played for the first time, and I thought that the concept was kind of. I thought that the concept was just kind of like, bland, but it ended up being really fun. Just because, I played Chris, and it was like, wow, in the end, my frog just wouldn't stick its tongue out. So I kept trying to figure out how to stick its tongue out, and it just was like, no, it just does it on its own.
There's a version where you can have where you can control the tongue, but I just think for everybody playing for the first time, just make it on auto tongue, which is an awesome term.
So when it comes to Intellivision games, I really think that's one of my favorites. Just because of the way it looks. When you put that against the bland, Atari games, and you put that up there, the colors are eye popping. It's it's a really
the sunset
pretty
and the sound effects.
And the sunsets.
The images are very recognizable.
Yeah, and the 3-year-old
bugs look like bugs, not ducks.
Exactly, or dragons.
I'm surprised that I laughed.
Get this freaking duck away from me!
Yeah,
with you too, and then but it started having some issues with frying a little bit.
Yeah, or my Intellivision started getting a little issuey at the end. I hopefully it's just a little overheating and it's not broken for good because I just had it video AV modded.
I think a lot of people were impressed with the vintage of the Intellivision controllers. Maybe the people that had.
Oh yeah, people saw it for the first time with the overlays.
Is this? It's alien. Yeah.
I remember seeing that overlay and I was like, so I had to have Chris tell me what is the night and day in the pictures, and he ended up showing me how that worked, and I just thought that was really weird because I've never seen an overlay on a controller except for the Jaguar, that had the overlays.
And you were using your Telegame, your Sears.
My Sears, yes, because it has removable controllers. Ergo, I could have controller extension cords, so everybody could comfortably play and not have the. I think the setup for my space has worked out really well. I'm going to brag a bit.
No, it's
and the thing with the Intellivision, though, most of the best Intellivision games are super complicated, like Sea Battle, Utopia, the sports games. They're very. The Intellivision was kind of like the pseudo home computer of its day.
It's like the simulations.
Right. Like Atari was like dumb arcade games, and Intellivision was going to have the smart games. But the problem with the smart games is in 2011, 2012, I can't really show my friend Sea Battle and explain it in 5 seconds.
It's needlessly complicated.
Yeah, so Frogbog's one of the few Intellivision games that everybody can pick up and go, and I think it was a pretty good choice.
George Plimpton was right.
Yes.
And a hot plate.
And a hot plate.
George Plimpton's video falconry? What?
Yes, George Plimpton's video falconry. All right, so the final game, what I did after the 5th tournament of Frogbog was stopped all the competition. I got the top 8 scores and had a playoffs in combat for the Atari 2600, which was the repeat title from last year. And it wasn't as exciting last time, and we were kind of pushing on time because I wanted to end at 8 o'clock and it was already 9:30 when we started this, so that's why I cut it to just the playoffs instead of everybody. And not everybody's down here, but I still think it turned out pretty well for everybody who got to play and watch.
There was still a lot of last minute.
I think it just wasn't surprising because last time we were surprised how well it worked.
Right, last time everybody had never seen it before, but there was one match I think it was Seth and Steven?
Where was it the first one?
Who had the sudden death match? Because it was
it
was like 7-8, and then somebody got
2 points real quick.
1 point to tie it, like it's right as time
that
is
was
expiring.
me. It was on the exact moment that the time expired, and then I
Yeah,
hit
'cause-
Steven for 9-9.
Because your tank's supposed to stop moving, but it lets the bullet finish
Yeah,
its course,
and that's
it,
what happened.
Finished right over, took Steven out and tied you guys up.
That was standing ovation worthy, and then we had a sudden death and finished
And
it out.
me and you, Chris and Sam, had a pretty good match there.
Yeah,
It was kind of tense. 6-7. No, yeah. I haven't played the game in a long time. So.
right. But if you get into it with somebody who's good at it, we played the tank pong variation. That's the way to go.
Yes.
Tat and I tried the steering bullets last night when we were testing everything out, and he kicked my ass. I'm not good at steering bullets. I can do the pong much better.
Yeah, and
Tatton's a ringer.
Tatton is always amazing at it.
That's him and his dad's game, and his dad passed away a couple months ago, and I think that I'll say it for him. I think that dedicating it to his dad is kind of a cool thing that he gets a chance to play that again.
Yeah, that was actually really fun getting to play that tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
So I really enjoyed playing it last year, and I'm sad that I didn't get to go up against Linda again because.
How about right now? Right now.
What? No, I'm good. It's 9-9 time, so Chris used the combat rock version.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
which
was
is
really
the
cool.
rock the Casbah in the 8-bits, which is neat. But Steven did make the point; it didn't have the original sound effects.
Right. They had to take because the sound channels are so limited by putting in the.
So we got the chiptune version.
It's by Paul Slocum, by the way, who also invented the synth cart for the 2600. So you turn your 2600 into a synthesizer, as well as the synth cart for the Commodore 64.
So do you need the sound effects for playing combat?
You
I
lose
kinda
some. Yeah, you. If
If you're used to it.
there was no. You didn't have the.
There was a boop 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 with the bullets bouncing off the walls. But but that's why I only played it for the final game, just because that song repeating for 10 minutes would have been obnoxious too.
Well, that's the one that I wanted to play because when he said that they had the Rock the Casbah in 8-bit, I thought that was really.
I loved the moment when Becky was like, "That's coming from the game."
Yeah, she was freaking out.
I thought you just had a soundtrack on a CD playing.
Paul Slocum is a musical genius. I will.
That was one of my favorite moments of the night.
I love the chiptune stuff. So here,
check out the band Tree Wave. That's his band that he plays all this stuff, and it's a chiptune band, but they sound organic with it. Most chiptune bands sound techno. His sounds like a shoegazer band. So.
Danimal Cannon did Moonlight Sonata, a chiptune version of that, which is has nothing to pertain to it, but it was awesome. So sorry.
But probably won't do it next time. I think twice is enough. When there's only 16 slots, I want to get into next year's suggestions, and then we'll wrap it up.
And we didn't do Pong again this year because that was another one of those crazy awesome people really liked. Holy crap! What a ninja thing.
Yeah, I liked Pong too, but I didn't want to do both, so it was one or the other.
So
maybe Pong next time.
Suggestions: Bounty Bob Strikes Back.
I have to buy a copy; it's expensive.
Well, and if we're gonna follow the tradition of one game carries over from the old to the new, I say Saturn Bomberman.
Saturn Bomberman.
But what if we do Saturn Bomberman for your housewarming party? Then would that get our Jones?
Yeah, because I would say Saturn Bomberman just because you have to do it. It was great. But Killer Bees.
Killer Bees?
Yeah,
Killer Bees for sure.
Wow,
Killer Bees was great.
Awesome. I'm
people.
I'm impressed with the Killer Bees and Minor 2049er love. This is my whole. A lot of people that are big into Nintendo pretend video games were invented in 1985, and getting them to play anything from before that is a chore. It's like people watching black and white movies. It takes a wanting to get into it. But once you do and you can get into it, it's awesome.
It's the gameplay. It's simply you picked the stuff that was picked this time had great gameplay on it, and those guys really, the graphics. Yeah, they're robot bears, and they don't look like robot bears. They're like ice cream cones, and then they turn into beehives, which look like little gravestones, croquet wickets. Damn straight, because that's exactly what it looks like.
It actually reminded me of in Desert Falcon. There's certain symbols to pick up, and it's reminded me of a bigger version of that for some reason.
Yeah.
So, but
Desert
when it
Stalker
comes to
reference,
it,
+1.
you know, the best NES games are about the gameplay, and we've gotten to the point now where there's so much story. We need to pick stuff that has the amazing gameplay in it. So we were talking Commando. Somebody had Commando as one of their first games, and you know, Commando's one of those you can get into and just shoot.
And there's only you can play just one round, so you don't have to make it.
Like I was saying about Commando 2 was that playing that for the first time as, you know, a 6-year-old and blowing up things and seeing things behind, like power-ups and like, this is mind-boggling after playing Atari and kind of the first step.
They actually made Commando for Atari.
Oh, I'd see. There you
go. Yeah.
I should have known this at 6 years old.
Yeah. Anybody ever play Freeway?
Oh, I love Freeway.
I think Freeway could be like the Frog Bog next time. It's just up and down, and 2 players, really quick matches. I think that's a good one to think of next time.
Does anybody like Bust a Move?
Yeah.
Bust a Move 2 has the feel of Saturn Bomberman, and the music is similar.
And there's always a puzzle game.
It's a good pick up and play game too. Like anybody can.
No. Colorblind's okay on Bust a Move. They put shapes inside.
I love those games.
Yeah, it is colorblind.
Anybody play
friendly.
Puyo Puyo?
No shapes in Puyo Puyo.
Or
not that it matters.
I mean Kirby's Avalanche.
That same game.
Oh, sorry. I mean
Dr. Robotnik.
Pokemon Puzzle
Dr.
League.
Robotnik. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Well,
Pokemon Puzzle League, which is something else.
Tetris Attack and
that's
Panel
colorblind
Depone
friendly.
or something.
It is.
Yeah, that is. There's shapes in that one too.
Oh yeah.
Before
shapes,
we go too far away from it, I do like the point that you said about comparing the systems like pre-Nintendo to like black and white movies. But I think even going a step further from that is because there's still a lot of people who, especially collectors, who mostly started or didn't experience the pre-Nintendo systems, but like kind of have them and kind of play them. But there's kind of a difference too between like knowing black and white movies and knowing Citizen Kane and Casablanca versus like knowing Nosferatu.
You need a mortician! A mortician!
I mean,
it's a whole reference +1.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is like Citizen
Kane.
Because I even have like Miner 2049er, and I don't know that I've ever played it to the extent that like I played it here tonight. And Killer Bees, like I've never played before, even though I've gotten to listen to.
I think also with like black and white movies, it's like sound and like how everything develops, and starting from the beginning and seeing how every small little tweak led to a new revelation and a new gameplay element, and just having that, and it just seems like a lot of young people cut it off. And
right,
just like,
the barrier of
started
entry
here.
is high. I don't like a lot of black and white movies either,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that
it's like watching an Alfred Hitchcock movie that he made silent, and then watching his like talkie.
It's really hard to get into at first, but like once you get over that barrier of entry, then there can be some good stuff there. And there's a shit ton of bad Atari games. It would just, I think so far we've done the best of the best, and we'll keep doing that.
So, you did know that the new Ghostbusters 2 on the NES.
But that's not competitive.
If you die, when you die, there's a score.
But
you can. I mean, that one can take a while to play.
Like somebody suggested
true.
Contra, and that just
that would take a long time to do.
It's like just
that would be the 40
I
life
think
code.
the brain
like who gets the most points in stage 1. I mean, it could work, but there's like better choices. I think.
I think definitely for next time, and I'll go through this one with you first. We'll be selective about it. I want to pick one of the Japanese games from our collection, something that nobody else has played, just so we can throw a brand new
Mushihime.
Oh God,
Mushihime. Well, like one of the old.
No. You can download. That's DLC now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's on the PlayStation Network. We totally have it. Heather was like, Choaniki's awesome. I got to get me this.
And I might do something weird, like one of those Coleco arcade things I've got up there, or something like. Really...
Oh my God! The Q*bert is amazing. The gameplay on that is fantastic.
Do you guys have that one?
I do.
If we do another light gun game, I'm going to go ahead and vote now and say we do Point Blank. I think
that's a good one.
Point Blank is fantastic. That's a great game.
We could do Point Blank on like advanced and
That's a
up to your first
WarioWare-esque.
continue. And
Would a light gun game have to be one of the competitive ones though? So we limit how close you are to the TV.
That's the issue.
We would, but I think we could do that easy enough if we were a little more creative with the layout.
Okay.
Yeah, and plus I think next year we're considering a bigger location, but that's not final yet either.
You mean in 8 months? I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know. I want to do Hexadecathlon once a year in the wintertime when there's like a lot of people in one space. But I want to do gaming get-togethers more often, just shorter, just for the evening, 1 or 2 games.
Like a Hexade afternoon.
Yeah.
But I think if we moved it,
Pentadecathlon.
Yeah.
Wait.
Just a hexathon.
Pentathlon?
Hexathon.
So if we could pinball in the next one, I would definitely love to do pinball, but I'd love to mix it up and do something that most people haven't really done. What about Pinball of the Dead for the Game Boy Advance?
Yeah.
Play it on the Game Boy player.
Hopefully, we'll have our pinball machine for next one. I would love us to actually play a
nice.
pin table.
Have you played Pinball of the Dead?
I don't think okay, I'll let a purist say something.
I have played it, but I don't really like it.
Purists hate those games.
No,
like Devil's Crush.
No, I was
Devil's
just
Crush
telling
and
him
Alien Crush.
the first game I got on the WiiWare was Devil's Crush and Alien's Crush, and I love it. I love it.
So
Really?
Corey,
I don't
Corey
mind
would
it
be
if it
all
works,
up on those.
but I just don't feel like that.
Do they feel like real pinball, or do you just like
No, it's just something
the
that's
action
fun.
element of it?
Yeah, something that's fun. I love Sonic Spinball. That is one of my absolute favorites.
I like that one too.
And I
Everybody
love-
shits on that.
Well, see, I love the idea of fighting bosses and going through a stage and having
Yeah.
it, be
Pinball
like that.
Quest for the NES?
Yeah, that's okay. I love Kirby Pinball, but that's a little weird too. Or the Dreamland Kirby Pinball. Yeah, that was really good. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty game.
Okay, so if we're gonna bust out like Coleco arcades and like actual pinball machines, then I think I'm gonna have to add the Myst board game to the
Triple
list? Or-
Triad.
What do we got?
Triple
Triad. Oh, it'll just be me and Becky in the corner going, yeah,
We need to.
Well, I saw that Miss board game, and I was eyeing it pretty heavily, so I'm down for that.
We need to get a fighting game back, I think.
Yeah, the wrestling was fun last
Yeah.
Like
we've
Soul
talked
Calibur.
Primal Rage.
Virtua Fighter.
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur.
And it's
Soul
a
Calibur
kick-ass
might be.
game, and I think a lot of
Yeah, I
people
mean,
have run
played
Yeah.
Soul Calibur on a cube with a 5-year-old and had a ton of
Dead
fun.
or Alive.
Dead or Alive. There were a lot of boobs
Dead or
here
Alive's
tonight.
kind of,
we had to comment
I
on the
do not
boob.
play fighting games.
Not really, me neither, but
But the wrestling game was fun last year.
Soul Calibur, the new one, the 5, yes, has. Have you seen the characters?
So you can make anything.
You can make anything, but you also have Mega Man from the original NES box art, Pac-Man, and who else was in it?
Zoidberg.
No, that wasn't Zoidberg. Somebody
Someone
made that.
made Zoidberg,
Somebody
yeah.
made Zoidberg. But that would be great for our modern contingent in that you get.
Oh, wait.
That's.
You're talking about the Street Fighter
Calibur.
Cross Tekken. Street Fighter Cross
I
Tekken.
am. Never mind.
Corey suggested
Higgins.
Pac-Man Championship Edition DX, which is one of my favorites
a
too.
fantastic game.
And that's one of my favorites.
And the learning curve on that is very little. If you've played Pac-Man, but you can get into that,
And the scores aren't like they are in Geometry Wars. They don't increase exponentially, so a good high score isn't going to destroy everybody else and knock the scoring system down.
And the
Is
replay
there-
value on that is great.
Is there any way that we could figure out a way to do Pac-Man Versus?
Oh my god, I love that game.
And you know what?
Do you guys know Pac-Man Versus?
No.
Okay, so on the GameCube, you go ahead and one person plays Pac-Man. You hook in the Game Boy players on the other ones. Everybody else controls the ghosts.
Really?
The actual Game Boy Advance.
How's the control
But-
on the Ghost? Is it pretty, legit, or is it like kind of
it's
shitty?
decent.
Can
It's
you do SP?
slow. That's the problem with Pac-Man Versus. It's not. It's only one speed. You wish that there were more options, but it's still an awesome game. And how the original works is the 3 ghosts see one television screen and just see like their portion of the maze. Then Pac-Man gets their Game Boy and can see the whole maze in their little screen. But what I could do is with 2 televisions and with a Game Boy player, Pac-Man can get one TV with the whole screen, so everybody can see that screen at one time. And I can have 2 screens. It'd be a really weird setup with a Wii and a GameCube. But
You're a visionary. I appreciate.
I got that off a
mind's
message
eye.
board. I didn't invent that. I will admit that I did not invent that, but I want to try that.
I could see that being a good multiplayer game.
The only thing I worry about is finding a way to get through it timely. I can't remember
If
how,
it's
we
4
have to-
player, then that decreases the time, and I think there's a time limit in that game. It's like who gets the most points in like 3 minutes or 5 minutes.
But then, like, who gets to be Pac-Man as a ghost? Is there a fair enough chance to be able to get as many points as? We'd have to play with that one quite a bit. I think to make sure it's fair.
Any other suggestions before we wrap this up?
Well, I was going to say let's do this because
let's go around the room. Favorite game, worst game, and suggestion.
Exactly. We're at the 2 hour point. Becky, favorite game?
I'm gonna say Minor 2049er.
Worst game?
Oh, Big Crazy Taxi.
Game you want to come back next year?
Saturn Bomberman. Oh my god.
And suggestion for next year, brand new one.
I was going to say Blue Max, but I think it's going to take too long for us to play. I enjoyed it so much. I would love to share that with everybody else. And that is for the Atari. I played it originally on the Atari 800XE after my appendix ruptured.
Alrighty, Steven, favorite game?
Killer Bees.
Worst game?
Paperboy, probably.
Which one do you want to come back?
Killer Bees.
And suggestion?
Bust a Move 2, PlayStation.
Sweet. Alrighty. Amy, what's your favorite?
I actually Dr. Mario, of course, but I will say I really like the Reggie Jackson.
Awesome.
Nice.
I love that. I'd never played it before.
Home Run Derby.
Least favorite?
Least favorite, probably Crazy Taxi. I just couldn't get the controls down.
Which one do you want to come back next year?
Dr. Mario.
And suggestion for next year, new one.
Oh gosh, I don't know. You guys know a lot more than I do, so I'd be regular.
What'd you play as a kid?
Yeah, what'd you play as a kid that you'd like? Something competitive you'd play with friends.
Not much. I honestly don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm stumped.
That's all right. Well, I tell you what, in lieu of that, because I wanted to ask you this earlier and I couldn't find a way to work it in, how many of the games that you played tonight were the first time you ever played them?
Almost all of them. The only ones I had actually played prior was Duck Hunt, the Pinball, and I think that was it.
Mario
and
Tetris.
Mario and Tetris, of course. Everything else was brand new to me. So,
awesome.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Alrighty, Sam, what was your favorite one?
I'd have to...
Pinball.
Pinball?
No. It actually wasn't. Frog Pond, actually. I had a lot of fun.
Frog Bog?
Frog Bog, say.
Awesome.
How dare I say Frog? Yes.
What was your least favorite?
I would say Paperboy, but not without trying, it was a fighting.
But it wasn't like a hate.
No,
oh my God,
it was just
disappointment,
like,
I think.
What was my
the term
least,
for Paperboy.
Monty Python movie?
Which one do you want to see come back next year?
I'd have to say Bomberman.
Yes.
Sorry.
And suggestion for next year?
As much as I like all those Pac-Man ideas, I do like the Champion DX. It's really, really great, and I think it's all-inclusive in a lot of ways, and yet still very specific to the people who are hardcore with it.
And you can set a time limit on it.
Yep.
Yes.
Seth, what was your favorite?
My favorite out of all of them would have had to have been Killer Bees.
Sweet.
That's impressive. I'm so happy for you guys.
It was the first time for me, and I've never had that much of a chance to play the Odyssey. I've played it, one of the Odysseys. I have the 300, but what is it? The
that's just
Magnavox.
Pong. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not played that machine, but probably Killer Bees for sure.
What was your least favorite?
My least favorite would have to be Donkey Kong, the variation. It was the XEGS version. That one was really tough for me.
You're familiar with it? You play the NES version a lot?
I play the Atari one, or the Coleco cart? Yeah, the Coleco cart.
Coleco's overrated. That version there's only the 3 boards. There's no little bouncy guys on the elevator stage.
Yeah. I do have the NES one as well.
People just like it because it was better than the Atari.
It was
responsive.
like the one.
I don't know.
Yeah, the Coleco one I think was really good.
Better than the Atari 2600, you mean?
Yeah, the Donkey Kong on Coleco is better than...
And I like the 2600 one. It doesn't have all the boards, but it flows well. But that's another tangent. What was the...
Which one do you want to see come back?
From... the one that I was thinking of was one that we played last year, Mario Kart 64.
Hey!
Oh, gotcha. Good call.
I was kind of short last year. I kind of wish we kind of gotten into it more.
Yeah.
It didn't... Maybe the battle mode instead of the race mode.
It may be the Super Nintendo version, even though I know it's going to be longer.
It's only 2
but if we
players
do,
versus 4.
But if we did that in battle mode, maybe it'd be quicker.
Battle mode would be cool.
Doesn't like the Wii or which one has like the older tracks on it?
Well, the DS version has older tracks.
Yeah, the DS has most.
Hey,
of
we
the
could
older ones.
we can get 4 DSs in a room. That's not difficult in this group.
Yeah, no, not at all. What would you want for a suggestion for next year?
Suggestion for next year. I had it. It was One that I was thinking of first was Roads of Rampage for the NES.
Nice.
That would
But
be a
I was
cool one.
thinking of
There's a lot of Rampages out there, so that's a nice flexible one.
yeah, like the Rampage for the NES, or I just lost it. But
Is the
yeah,
Rampage an old Nick Arcade game? Didn't they play? We should go with only games from Nick Arcade.
Nick Arcade, Sonic 2.
All right, Chris, what was your favorite?
Well, Mr. Driller, that's one of my all-time favorite games, and I wish I got to play it more, but I got a high score, and I wasn't a dick and pushed it even higher.
He is sick when he plays.
I only
that
got
game.
I got 8,700 depth when I started 5,000. That's not like a destroying high score.
Oh,
but
yeah, but
I
I've
wanted to
seen
break
you-
10,000.
I've seen you devastate that before, though.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't push it.
What was your least favorite?
Crap.
Paperboy. Paperboy. Paperboy.
Probably Duck Hunt.
Gotcha.
I didn't think it worked out well, or Geometry Wars, just because of the scoring. I like the game, I didn't think the scoring worked, like I said before. What do I want to come back? I'll say Iron Bomberman, of course.
Sweet.
And in my suggestion, did I say Freeway already? Are you talking about that?
Yep.
No, but
Yeah.
go for it.
I think Freeway or some Atari game that's very simple. Maybe Kaboom. Kaboom's one of my all-time favorites.
Oh,
Kaboom. We should
Why-
totally do Kaboom.
why
Yeah,
have we
that
not
was-
done Kaboom yet?
that'd be
We-
Hey,
I-
can we do the Burger King game?
Awesome.
What, the Burger King race game?
the Burger
the-
King handheld.
The
King?
Yeah, wait,
Oh, God.
no. Did they do a proper cart for that?
No,
Somebody made a hack, but they never made a cart.
there's
Oh.
no card.
So they did a version of Kaboom. You weren't allowed to use bombs and the little handhelds that they handed out. So you were grabbing hamburgers.
That's too funny.
Yeah, so it was still Kaboom. It was just hamburger Kaboom, but it was the Burger King. Was it Burger King or McDonald's?
It's Burger King.
Burger King.
All right, Linda, what was your favorite?
Well, I think the one I had the most fun failing at was Killer Bees.
Wow.
I think, just because it was, the little bees, they were cute, and then there was the, and then the intergalactic predator,
Yeah.
So, God, me and my copyright.
Don't worry, you didn't finish it.
All right, so,
Least favorite?
least favorite.
I love Crashing the Boys.
See,
Is that Vanilla Ice?
yes, you're on the game. I love Vanilla Ice. Well, Paperboy was frustrating because sewers should not make your bicycle explode. But I think the only game that I actually gave the finger to was Miner 2049er. I'm sorry. I know everybody loves
No
it.
fun or
Because
too hard?
I would fall off things. I would do jumps, and then it would work, and then I would die, and then I would go back again and do the same jump, and I would die.
Yeah, and fall through the platforms.
And I'm
It's
like, but
touching.
last time it worked. And when I did get to the second level, but I couldn't figure out how to I couldn't do the jump to get over, and then I kept sliding down on the other side, and I was just pissed. I did figure out the whole get this, knock these guys all out, and then just get the last thing to knock the last guy at the top out. But yeah, I was very and Donkey Kong. I have a 3-way tie for least favorite because I am indecisive.
Which is the one you like to see come back?
I don't know. Probably the Bomberman, just because we can. Just because we can do it. Although, if we end up playing it at other video game gatherings, it might get redundant and old and sad. But, whatever.
When? What about suggestion for next year?
I have no idea. Triple Triad. Oh, if there's some way we could work Katamari in it, I would like to do some Katamari. I don't know how we would
I bet we
figure
could
that
find
out. And it's got to be with a freaking PlayStation controller. Even if it's on the Xbox, I want a freaking PlayStation controller to play it, because otherwise I'm out, because I can't play it.
I think we could find a mode for it.
2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
We need a 5-minute mode, I would think, but yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
that
idea.
would be fantastic.
But something with a
That's-
PlayStation controller, even if it's not played on the PlayStation system, I demand a PlayStation controller.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any Pico games we could use?
Pico! I was going to say that earlier. Yeah, we should do a Pico.
There's a Sonic Pico. It's really cheesy.
Alrighty, so I
So,
guess I'm last.
Tatton's.
My
Picks?
my favorite was Killer Bees. I'm gonna go with Killer Bees. I
Holy
had
shit.
the most fun playing that. It was one I went back to the whole time. It was great. I loved it.
Wow.
Do we have Killer Bees?
I don't know. I'm gonna look as soon as we get home.
Killer Bees!
Killer Bees.
Sorry, it's an exclamation point. Killer Bees!
They're coming up from Mexico.
My least favorite was Paperboy because it's on the Genesis.
Mhm.
No, I'm just, I'm just trying to make Chris mad. No, I really didn't like Paperboy. But to be fair, I'm not a
I
big fan
didn't
of
pick it.
Paperboy to begin with. I know.
picked the Genesis over the NES. That's all I did.
I know. I just like to.
It
Take
would have
it.
been just as frustrating had I picked the Atari Arcade Greatest Hits version.
I like to throw
With-
kidney punches at Genesis when I can, just because
Yeah.
it gets you riled up.
Kidney punch.
The game I want to come back next year is Bomberman. I mean, we can. That was the multiplayer game we got people the quickest through. I think we could work out the hiccups that we had to make it fun for everyone.
Stickers.
And-
That's a good idea.
And I think we could actually make the gameplay a little bit longer too, because we ran through it so quick. If we had worked out the problems with getting people to their controllers quicker and then have them figure out who they are quicker, we could do some extra rounds. People could play a little bit longer.
Well, I think if we just have, like you said, if we do the get-together and just dedicate an hour, 2 hours to it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the game that I want to see, my suggestion for next year, I actually have two suggestions. One, what I talked about earlier, I want to try to find something that nobody has played so that everybody comes in on an even playing field. So, whatever random, obscure Japanese thing that we can find that's
And
brand
make it a
new.
surprise until we get here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to...
We'll do Game X.
Yeah, if we want to announce it, we'll just say, Famicom, Super Famicom, just whatever the controller's going to be. But if I would actually have to pick a game, I would say Sega Bass Fishing with the controller.
Dude,
That'd
good
be
choice.
fantastic.
That'd be fun.
Well,
Big one.
Fish!
We've got
Small
that
one.
crazy controller too.
Yeah, you have to do the actual fishing controller. You've got a time limit on it. You got a pretty good score. It'd be easy for everybody to pick up and play. It's arcade feel. I think it'd be fun.
It's nice to have a mix in there of something that you have to play in a non-controllery way.
Yeah. and I
So
think
getting in
for-
and having the light gun, but being able to get in and do it with that controller would be groovy. And you know how many people have actually played Sega Bass Fishing with the controller?
And Madden 12.
Shut your dirty whore mouth.
All right. Well, any closing thoughts before we finish it up?
Is Alex Kidd? Could you potentially do? You can get maxed out the points on that, couldn't you? There's no love for Alex Kidd.
Alex Kidd can be brutal.
Alex Kidd's fun, but it's not very competitive.
Yeah.
You can play too long easily.
Yeah, gotcha.
Another one I was thinking of was the original Mario Brothers for NES.
That's a good competitive.
That was a
Two-player.
really good competitive
If
one.
you-
That's one I was thinking of, but couldn't remember when you asked when you would like to see.
The version on Super Mario Brothers 3, where it actually is competitive, where it's where there's you
And it
can do more.
controls like Super Mario Brothers 3.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that version might be even better.
Yeah, it'd be a fun one.
That or the Mario All Stars version.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same one.
Yeah,
Wait, Super Mario Brothers or Mario Brothers?
just regular Mario.
The regular
Mario
Mario
Brothers.
Brothers, but
That you
on
can play
Mario,
on Mario 3.
if you were playing two-player game and you ran into each other's character, then you could have a battle and steal each other's power-ups and
the
crap.
cards. Yeah.
That's a good suggestion.
Mr. Seth, look at him.
Alrighty, well, finish it up.
I think we're
say,
let's post this week. This is too much fun. And
Yeah.
the podcasting afterwards, I think was fun. Everybody like it?
Yeah,
Thanks for having
did enjoy
me
it.
and us. And
Yes.
Oh,
So,
rapidly.
so we'll say thanks again to everyone for coming, and definitely a huge thank you for to both Chris and Linda for hosting and getting everything ready and all of that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Delia.
And that finishes up this episode. So thanks for listening. We'll be back soon. Bye.
Now you're playing with podcast.
Hey listeners, this is Tatton. Just wanted to take a quick moment and let you know that there's lots of great places you can follow Now You're Playing With Podcast. We have a Facebook page set up, which is Now You're Playing With Fan Page. We have a Twitter account set up, which is NYPW Tweets, or Now You're Playing With Tweets. And, of course, all the episodes are available for download from nowyou'replayingwith.com. So we hope you enjoyed the show. If you like it, please take a moment and send us a message. Let us know what you think about it. And we hope to have some more shows coming for you soon. Until then, thanks for listening.
Now you're playing with podcast.